Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the panel. The Lakers and the Wolves are tied up now. And then there's two other series where two teams are just getting curb stomped. They're getting beat down. I see my man King Capers. He got his Thunder jersey on. I know my man John D down in the bottom right corner. He's happy that his Lakers won. I know Chill's happy that maybe he has LeBron agenda to push.
I don't have any LeBron agendas to push. No, I do not.
Okay. All right, fellas. Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's start by talking about the Los Angeles Lakers tying the series 1-1 with the Minnesota Timberwolves. What did we see last night that we liked or didn't like?
The defense. The defense against Anthony Edwards, I think, was a big improvement. The intensity was way better than it was in the first game. The Los Angeles Lakers walked into this game like it was a playoff game, which I really appreciate because their season was on the line. It didn't look like that same intensity was matched in the first game. A couple of things that I saw when I rewatched it was they still helped off and sent like bodies at Ant, but they were more strategized with who they sent their bodies to. So they made the passes a lot more difficult for Ant. Instead of just passing it to the next player like they did in the first game, it was more skip passes in the second game that Ant was really struggling to make. So you look in the first game, and it's like Ant had 9 assists and 1 turnover. And then you look in the second game and Ant didn't have any assists and 2 turnovers. It's because the passes were much harder. They were leaning on him making a lot of skip passes with a lot of guys in the lane, being able to disrupt those passes. So Ant wasn't able to make those reads time and time again. I think Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo getting in foul trouble very early also gave the Lakers an advantage. But I just wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't talk about the offense. Like, the offense has not looked good so far. And I'm still very confident in the Lakers. If we can keep this defensive intensity and get closer to our ceiling offensively, we will win this series. But we've tried to attack Rudy Gobert. I've taken down the possessions of us trying to attack Rudy Gobert. Luka Doncic is shooting 25% from the field when he attacks Rudy Gobert.
Talk about it.
Austin Reed is 2 for 2, but both of those shots were really tough shots. Like the Timberwolves cut it from 20 to 14, and Austin Reeves had a really tough shot against Rudy Gobert, which thank God it went in, but it was a really tough shot. I really liked what we did in the first quarter. There was a play where they ran a ghost screen because the Minnesota Timberwolves are set on switching every down screen that LeBron James gets to kind of take away him getting a head of steam to the basket. Naz Reid overcommit on the switch, and Dorian Finney-Smith got an easy cut to the basket. Lakers got in rotation. Luka got a wide open 3. I would really like to get more of that instead of just playing isolation ball throughout the entire fourth quarter, because the Lakers offense didn't look good for 75% of this game. But I think if the defense intensity keeps up and we still have a higher offensive ceiling than they do, I think we can win this series.
I think the physicality was matched later on in the game, which it wasn't in game 1. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves came out and punched y'all in the face, and I don't think that y'all were prepared for that. I think in this game, I feel like the physicality got matched. And with the physicality getting matched, guys like DiVincenzo, guys like Naz Reid, who are energy guys. When you got energy guys tend to be emotional guys, and you can throw them off the track when you turn up the heat a little bit. And I feel like Naz Reid, that fourth foul, that was a bonehead play on his part. 100% that was a bonehead play on his part, and it changed the momentum of the game, because now he's got to sit down, and that throws the rhythm off for your crew. Now, as far as you can be concerned with the offense, well, to your point, the reason why you're concerned with the offense is because of Minnesota's defense. And Minnesota's defense, particularly on Austin Reeves, is what the difference is in a lot of these games. I love the fact that how they chasing him around screens. I love the fact how they being physical with him. I love the fact that they're bodying him, not just bodying him, but also making sure that he's got a hand in his face. What I call it over-the-shoulder syndrome. When you got a guy who's consistently got a hand in his face, or he's got a body on him, when he's wide open, he's looking over his shoulder, and that throws off his rhythm. And I felt like yesterday, I think Austin Reeves had, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I think he had 4 or 5 maybe open looks, and he missed all of them. And the reason why was because he was getting hounded. And I feel like that threw his rhythm off. I'm so glad you brought up Rudy Gobert. I'm so glad you brought up Rudy Gobert off the strength of what Rudy does, not just as a switch guy, because I'm not really a fan of Rudy switching. The plays that we have where it's Jaden McDaniels and Rudy, First of all, that screen isn't hard enough to switch. You can get around that. You don't have to switch that with Rudy. But when Rudy is covering Luka, when Rudy is covering Austin Reeves had a drive to the basket where he ended up scoring under Rudy's arm. That was a tough shot. That was a very difficult shot that he had to get off on Rudy. I feel like the Minnesota Timberwolves defense has been the difference. It's just something that we've talked about all season long. Minnesota's offense late in games has been a problem. They've held the Lakers to under 100 in both of these games. The Lakers average over 110 points a game, and they've held them to under 100. So I'm really liking what their defense is doing right now.
Just to because I logged all the shots. The first possession where he pulled out the possession against Rudy Gobert, step back three, really tough shot, doesn't go in. He had a driving push shot, very contested. It went in because Luka did the little shot fake or the pass fake and got the push shot to go. The third one, blow by. He tries to sell the foul. He misses the shot and doesn't get the call. And the fourth shot was another step back three that was heavily contested. 25% from the three, 25% from the field. Did not knock down a single three. And this isn't him getting fouled or him getting any assists. This is just him shooting in isolation against Rudy Gobert. I don't necessarily think it's the best offense. And then the Lakers also did a lot of pull-up threes out of pick and roll where Rudy Gobert was too deep and dropping. I just don't think that you have two of some of the best passers the league has ever seen, and you're just running that stagnant of an offense. I don't understand it. I really wish the Lakers would have their playmakers make plays out of advantages that were set off ball, because it makes offense so much easier when you have to rotate on a guy that's getting open and also worry about this guy that can give you 30 while making the right read every time. But
John, wouldn't that be because you're so reliant on these guys? That's why you get a lot of standing around and watching. There's not a lot of action off the ball. You would think that when you got passes like Luka, when you got a passer like James, there would be more action to create advantages, only except Dorian Finney-Smith. Not just Dorian Finney-Smith, Austin Reeves. There's really not much action off the ball. They're hoping that both James and Luka will create shots for them, which when they get stifled, then now Austin Reeves has the ball with 8 seconds on the shot clock. He's got the ball, and now he's got to create something fast when he's got McDaniels in front of him, when he has Alexander Walker in front of him. That's why their offense is as stagnant as it is. I would love to see them get some more stuff off the ball, but they don't have that kind of offense. They haven't had that kind of offense all season.
I just think with all the floor spacers they have on the floor, you wouldn't have more screens set for guys like Austin Reeves to come off pin downs. If he's working at a advantage that's already created off ball, he could make the proper plays to create a good shot for himself and others. And it's just like, if we're just going to run, and then they're not going to be running too much screen and roll because Jackson Hayes isn't on the floor as much, and he's not that they don't have a lob threat outside of him. You're not asking Rui or Dorian Finney-Smith to be your lob threat. So it's a lot of, okay, we're just going to do a simple isolation for Luka Doncic and pray something happens, where I feel like there's a lot more that can be made within that offense. I think LeBron could be used in the dunker. I think you could have Rui and Dorian Finney-Smith on the corners, probably doing like a baseline runner to get Dorian Finney-Smith open from the three, but there's just none of that happening. And it's just like, it's not consistent. And when you allow this Minnesota Timberwolves team to set their feet in the half court defensively, you're already putting yourself at a disservice by just making it a lot harder for you as an offense.
What is happening is Julius Randle looks a lot more calm. What is happening is Julius Randle looks a lot less sped up when he's got the basketball in isolation, and he looks like he knows exactly what he wants to do, and he's under control, which would explain why he's getting the looks that he's getting, which would explain why he's finishing the way he's finishing. I ain't even talking about him being on the glass as an offensive rebounder. I'm just talking about I'm just talking about the offense that they run. I'm talking about the offense that they run where they go to Julius Randle's strengths. And one of his strengths is being isolated in the middle of the floor and having a guy like Rui covering him, and he could just blow by Rudy and get to the rim or stop right in the mid post. And that's working for him. And I think the main reason why Julius Randle is playing the way he's playing, one, because I think he's integrated into their defense. They're doing a really good job at covering for him. And number two, I feel like that's calmed him. And he's not playing fast. He's not playing out of control. And I like what I'm seeing from him. I do. I really like what I'm seeing from Julius Randle. And I would not be surprised if he continued doing what he's doing in this series.
Mars.
I saw
Whoa.
Julius getting busy.
I'm aware. I'm watching the series, right?
Okay, I'm just making sure that you're aware. Proceed, John.
I saw a tweet. The Lakers generated 12 points off 14 possessions in isolation against Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert. That's not good. That's not good. So I just don't think that needs to be something we constantly lean on in the half court. I still think we're going to win this series, but I just don't think that us continuing to go that route is going to be the best option.
John, but you know, like I know you keep saying you want more motion. I know you keep saying you want more screens. I know you want sets being ran. Can we just look at the DNA of this team? The offense is 80%, maybe more. Luka Doncic and LeBron James. Let's just take a little trip down memory lane.
It's all of them, Mara.
Who has Luka been since he got an NBA? Give me the ball, get out the way, maybe set a screen, and I'm going to get a bucket or make a good pass. LeBron James, 2003, he's drafted to the Cleveland Cavaliers. What is his game? Give me the ball, get out of the way, maybe come set a screen. I'll get a bucket, maybe make a good pass.
Ron, that's not what's been going on with the Lakers.
Quick thing though.
What's been going on with the Lakers?
I don't necessarily. I don't think the Luka lists with LeBron minutes. I don't think those have been good at all. Like when Luka's off the floor, the offense looks really bad. It looks really bad. And Austin Reeves, somebody needs to get him a watch and tell him what year it is. He keeps trying to hurt LeBron out there. It's not 2009. AR had like 3 lob passes to LeBron like he was still in Cleveland. That's not how it's gonna work. You're gonna hurt Bron and we're gonna lose. It was pissing me off because it's like he's 40. Relax before you hurt him out here. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the offense. And I just know how like high our ceiling is offensively, where you have to worry about 2 really good playmakers and Austin Reeves, who can be a dominant on-ball and off-ball scorer at times. And when you have these guys just standing around watching, and then you don't have your lob foot on the floor.
This has been LeBron and Luka since forever. Go back to Miami. You put shooters around LeBron, Shane Battier, Mario Chalmers. Hell, he turned Chris Bosh into a shooter, and he creates and gets them open looks or gets to the rack. It's the same thing for Luka. Like I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. I think running offense is the best way, getting cutters, getting ball movement, a la Golden State. But these 2 guys are heliocentric basketball players, and this is what they do, and this is who they've been.
I just think they could. For example, when Dame went out, the Bucks made it their mission to get Giannis a full head of steam to the basket as much as possible. Now, I'm not saying that they should be doing all of that the way that the Bucks have for Giannis, that the Lakers should be doing for Bron. But if you could get like Bron getting a head of steam at the basket and teams collapsing early, that could be an advantage created off ball, where LeBron's coming off screens across the court and getting like a favorable matchup by the time he catches the ball, so we don't waste 3 or 4 seconds trying to get Rui Hachimura to fight his way to LeBron and set the screen. If you can run that off ball while teams are worried about Luka Doncic one-on-one and get LeBron James with a head of steam to the basket off the catch, then the opposing team is going to be in rotation, and LeBron is a really good playmaker and passer to where he can hit a Rui Hachimura in the corner, or he can hit a cutting Jared Vanderbilt. And I love the Jared Vanderbilt minutes, by the way. He only played 7 minutes, but I just feel like that intensity and that toughness is something we need when he's on the floor. So I don't know how much he's going to play, but he needed to play.
Yo, Capers and Penn, I want to hear from you guys. How do you feel about this series? Capers, let's start with you, and then Penn, you let us know how you felt about last night.
All right, well, I feel like based off of last night, the refs aren't going to let the Lakers lose the series. Oh, no,
we had more
nonsense call. Whatever.
We had more fouls than them.
No. Listen,
it was a bad
the Lakers played great transition defense in the second half, especially. They played great defense. And if you're going to get every foul call, they're not going to lose, bro. That was a poorly officiated game, in my opinion, from last night. And that's just how I feel about it.
Lakers had 24 personal fouls, and the Timberwolves had 22.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, though, some of them calls, some of them screen calls and them blocking calls and them charge calls was ridiculous.
There were bad calls against the Lakers,
right? Are we blaming?
It was a poorly
officiated
game. It was a
poorly officiated game, bro.
It was a poorly officiated. Kate, what you trying to sell us? It was a poorly officiated game for the Minnesota Timberwolves and in favor of the Lakers.
Okay. I'll go 60-40 Lakers in favor of the Lakers.
Oh, that's me.
Hey,
I hear you.
That's me.
No, that was actually
Mic
me.
check 1 2.
Oh, okay.
Damn, chill, you everywhere.
Pen, what you think, man?
I mean, you said it.
Yeah, thank you.
You said it, but
We
look,
talked about it on Twitter last night.
Here we go.
John D, like,
Oh,
damn,
we got
I'm
a tag team
outnumbered.
partnership
Here we
up
go.
here.
Yeah, me and Penn
Here
was
we
on
go.
Twitter talking about this last night.
Look.
How you feel, Penn?
I'm gonna say this. I mean, let's not get into the ref stuff. We know the Lakers have had a
Please.
favorable whistle going
Thank
back
you.
like 50 years. Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
always going to be the case. I watched the Sacramento Kings get jobbed in the early 2000s. I remember how that went. I think y'all remember how that went. So look, I mean, you know, this is it's in the interest of the league for this to be a long series, right? The Thunder and the Memphis Grizzlies, bro, that shouldn't even be a series. I'm gonna be honest. That you might have to throw the white flag up on that series. That's not fun. That's not fun basketball to watch. I'm watching the Thunder stomp this team by 30, 40. You know, I thought they might just come out and stop them by 50, you know, try to just break their own record. Be like, damn, we got the game 1 record. Let's go for the game 2 record. Let's go for the whole damn series record. So, I mean, this is an interesting series. I do agree that this heliocentric LeBron Luka thing probably ain't gonna work. Number one, you keep saying LeBron been doing this since he was like 2003. Not the same LeBron James. He's not the same player. You say Luka's been doing this. It's not the same team. Luka been doing this with a lob threat. Actually, he did this with multiple lob threats last year. You don't have one this year. Jackson Hayes has been played off the court in this series. He sucks. He's a really bad basketball player. To the point
Is he a
where
bad basketball player, or is it just
Like, I don't think.
are we trying to be politically?
Right,
are we trying to be
No.
politically correct about this, Chill?
no? We're not.
IQ is not his strongest attribute.
Okay,
I'll say
What
that.
is his strongest attribute?
He
Being
jumps.
tall.
He jumps.
Okay, and when we got a guy who can run fast and jump high, we'll put a coach who puts him in position to be successful. That does, because if I'm not watching this kid Sims in Milwaukee actually look like a viable basketball player as opposed to when he was playing with the Knicks, when he played with Tibbs, and we was trying to figure out what he's even doing in the NBA. So maybe this is about coaching. I don't think this has anything to do with Jackson Hayes being a bad basketball player, because when he was running with Luka, he was diving to the rim, and we were all up here talking about how Luka about to put $100 million on this dude. That's what he about to do.
Yeah, Luka's going to make him worth more than he is.
100%.
That doesn't mean he's good.
No, that means that he's being used. His strengths are being used. That's what that means.
That doesn't mean he's good.
That's exactly what it means, Mars.
No, it doesn't. It means someone's making you better than you are.
No, hang on.
No, it means that someone is using my strengths, which makes me viable.
You can have strengths and not be good. You can have strengths and not be good.
Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert are good basketball players. You're not just going to be able to put Jackson Hayes out there and make him look serviceable out of nowhere. And he's getting exposed on both ends. He has, I think he's been like negative 15 box plus minus for both games. Like, it's bad, okay? Like, I'm just saying this, it's bad, okay?
And I wonder why. Penn. Why is it bad? Because maybe that dive into the rim and that roll isn't there because Rudy is in the middle of the paint. Maybe that's just not there.
Yeah, and when that's the only thing you can do, yeah, people realize you're not.
I mean, to John,
that doesn't make me a bad basketball player. That
doesn't make you a good one. He's not good.
I mean, he's not good. Okay. First of all, I think this Minnesota, like, I'm probably gonna go out on a limb and say this. I realize that probably most people have the Lakers winning this series. I still think Minnesota's gonna win this series,
including the refs.
Forget the refs. Whatever.
What's this ref shit about?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Can we get on this ref shit?
This is the thing.
No way the refs were going to let them go down.
The refs ain't have nothing. The refs
we had more fouls than the Timberwolves did.
We had more fouls. The refs didn't have
you fouled them more.
Stop counting your fouls.
About the refs aren't going to let. I don't get that shit.
What's going on?
I don't get it.
Just because you have more fouls doesn't mean that they were the correct calls.
Okay, but the refs
doesn't mean
there were legal screens on DiVincenzo and them charge calls on Randall.
We can point out the fouls that were just bad calls. Point them out. I want to see them.
So I remember a fourth-quarter
call.
You broke down the film.
Exactly. Point them out.
I remember a fourth-quarter call where Jaden McDaniels strapped Bron.
Talk to him.
And LeBron fell backwards.
Yep.
Jaden McDaniels had all ball. They tried to call a foul on Naz Reid. And Naz Reid, the contact was marginal. The same way they did. Remember when the call was challenged with Julius Randle?
Sure.
And they overturned it and they said the contact was marginal. The contact was marginal with Naz Reid. They called the foul simply because it was LeBron James.
Okay,
And
so
we all watch the same
Imagine
game.
that.
They know
Imagine
that.
superstars.
Run. They know that.
Chill.
Watch the
That's the
same
thing.
game.
Well, that's the thing.
I
Because
watched
superstars don't
Jaden
ever get
I
called.
watched Jaden McDaniels trip up Luka and nothing happened.
Nothing. He clearly
like,
cleared
what are we
them.
doing?
What are
Like
you
every
doing?
time,
I just think the refs were bad.
Mars.
They have a
I just think
favorable
the refs were
whistle.
bad.
Don't know that.
Okay, be that as it may,
I'm not saying they favored the Lakers. They favored the. I think they were just incompetent on both sides. It was bad.
Right.
You
It was
know
a
who
bad
the refs
referee.
favor? You know who the
It's
refs favor?
it's
Like it or not?
okay, so it's the Lakers. So let's
Chill
just
just said-
push the foul agenda. Like I don't
Chill
get it.
just said it.
We
Chill
watched
just
the
said
same
it. I mean,
game.
yo, we can
Exactly.
acknowledge
I
the
get it.
truth. LeBron James and Luka Doncic are going to get superstar calls, regardless of whether you like it or not.
That's not going to be the
You might
same.
gonna get
Stop
called.
complaining
That's
about
not-
it.
but
If you
that-
guys know what's gonna happen, stop complaining.
Right.
Oh,
And
wow.
not only that, John D.
my
Not only
goodness.
that, John
I knew
D.
he had to say
I
that.
don't think LeBron's whistling
I
is
knew
that
he had to
good.
say
Player
that.
is a foul baiter. That's all he
Come
does.
on, bro.
Hey, yo, but with that being said, John D, you know, I do want to say, and I can't say whether or not Capers is right about the favorable thing. All I'm saying
He
is that
can.
incompetent refereeing doesn't affect every team the same. Now, I think y'all put a good ass whooping on the Minnesota Timberwolves last night, regardless of refereeing. You know what I'm saying? I think y'all had that game in the bag, but I will say that incompetent refereeing isn't equal for both squads.
I'm just trying to
I
figure
knew
out.
this was going to be a talking point this morning.
I don't
knew
understand
it.
why,
I
John.
want to be sure that I don't
believe.
believe that y'all won based on refereeing. I think y'all had Minnesota number last night, and that's just what it was. But you know, just because one team had more fouls than the other doesn't show because one team might have been fouling more than the other team. You know what I'm saying? But that I just wanted to put that context out there without making it seem like I think that's the reason the Lakers won the game. I think the Lakers won because they played better basketball yesterday. I think it's simple as that.
I think we won off the fact that our defensive intensity was much higher than it was in game one. I damn sure don't think it's because of the refs. I don't think we walked into this game and won because of the refs. I don't think being able to make the right pass consistently is on the refs.
No,
Like, that's
they
not-
played
that's
great
not on the
D.
ref.
They played
That's
great
because of our
D though. They played great D and transition
Exactly.
D.
That's why
But
we
the
won.
refs
That's why we
also
won.
played a factor in it. And y'all notice we watched the same game.
So Kate, if we're watching the same game, did the refs have something to do with Naz Reid, Bowen, Gabe Vincent trying to get?
That was a good call.
Okay, so did the refs have anything to do with Naz Reid?
play.
2 plays later, running over Austin Reeves.
Okay, what
for foul
about
number
the
4.
illegal screens
So
though? What about the
Did
illegal screens on
did the
DiVincenzo
refs
though?
have anything to do with Luka, by the way, to Mars's point, when he got tripped up in
and they
that
didn't
play,
say that.
he barreled over somebody and didn't get an offensive foul.
Okay,
But
what
instead,
about
he gets tripped.
But the thing is,
What are we
we're
doing?
watching. If we're
What's this
watching
ref shit about?
every single playoff game, the leniency, the refs have been way more lenient with physical play throughout the entire playoffs. Like we've
Not
seen it
last night.
in every single game. We've seen it in every single game. Every single game was physical. Every single one. Like the refs are leaning way more on just letting these guys play instead of calling every foul. And it's like the Minnesota Timberwolves are a team where if the refs are going to be lenient with physicality, the Timberwolves should be thriving. So, like, I don't get it. Why are we blaming the refs now when the Timberwolves lay their hat on being physical? I don't get it.
All right, man.
I think you're getting upset because you know he's right.
Yeah, he knows I'm right. So does Chill. So does Chill. So does Ron. Everybody saw the same game.
It is. All of a sudden, so
Everybody saw the same game.
If it's not true,
last
it don't
night.
need to bother you. I'm just
No,
saying.
no,
like,
They were not going to let them
maybe
go
because
down.
maybe because it's not true. That's why
Exactly.
it's
No.
bothering me.
It's not true.
No,
That's
that ain't why
not
it's
true.
bothering
Because
me.
it's a lie. That's not
Reverse
true.
psychology.
Yeah, you see what he's
I
doing?
know you're better. I know you're better than this. I know you're better than
Oh,
this.
come on, bro.
who, me?
Come
Yes,
on,
you.
bro.
I know you're better than this.
No,
I know
I'm
you're better than
worse.
come up here and be like, oh no, let me push this Lakers agenda. Let me push this
Come
Lakers
on,
agenda.
bro. The Lakers
Nah,
played
like,
good,
come on,
but
I
they
know-
got
I know
favorable
you're better
calls
than-
also.
Look,
Can
let's
we-
get off the refs for a second because you can't
All right.
control that.
Right.
Look,
Right.
Fair enough.
physicality
do
is
that?
up around.
Physicality.
Physicality is up all around, and I like it. That's what I like about playoff basketball. You know, they're allowing dudes to hold. But I will say, when you wanna say, oh well, this is a fair game or this is not a fair game, you can't be counting up fouls. You cannot be counting up fouls. What you need to count up is how often a foul broke momentum for a team. That's what I would, and I'm not even talking about this series. I'm talking about historically. When you get 2 chippy fouls, like within a minute, it throws your entire game off, especially if you allow it to happen.
Yep.
So to me, as much as, some people are going to lament the refs, I'm going to say the Minnesota Timberwolves have to be more mature. And that starts with Anthony Edwards. They're going to blitz you this way. You got to continue to make the right pass. You can't be forcing up.
Could you handle it?
He had
No,
zero.
because
He had zero assists last night.
You live your life on the court the way you live your
Guys
life
didn't
off
make
the court.
shots,
There's no maturity there.
No, it's
John
just
wouldn't say it best. Chill. You live your life on the court the way you live your life off the court. There is no maturity there.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Pin. Go ahead,
I
Pin.
apologize.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, this series, like every other series, is going to come down to the other guys, right? Luka is the best player in this series, bar none. He's playing like it right now. Unlike those first, handful of games with the Lakers, last 6-7 games, he's been like almost old school Luka. Like he's been like getting past this guy a lot better. I just think the pieces around him probably just aren't there for like a full championship run. Like I needed that lob threat. I don't have one. I need LeBron to make his shots. He's not making them. I need, Austin Reeves to be a little bit better than he's been. He's not there. Gabe Vincent, shout out. Shout out to Gabe
Definitely
Vincent.
shout out to Gabe.
Huge. Huge.
Hey, Gabe.
Right. I talked a
stand
lot
corrected,
of shit
Gabe.
about. I talked a lot of
Goddamn,
shit
Gabe.
about Gabe Vincent, but that dude came up big.
I mean, damn,
he
Ron.
was
I mean,
huge.
I
right?
was starting on a team that was in the NBA Finals, Ron. Now you
Yeah,
talking
you were
to
the
me.
worst
He
part
was
about
making
it.
big shots.
Even if I was a starter on a team that was in the NBA Finals. I was doing that, but Ron
By
talking about me.
necessity.
Ron talking about me like I can't even start for a high school, an elite high school team. That's how Ron talking about me like I,
I mean,
can't
with
start
that
at
being
University
said,
of
like,
Houston.
all right, but okay,
I'm like,
let's
damn,
not do
hold
all
on,
of this
y'all.
stuff. The nigga made
Wait a
2
minute.
threes last night. Like,
We
act
please
like
don't- please don't
okay,
hold
nah.
it.
No,
back
no,
to
no,
the
no,
game.
no.
But nah, he
we're not
looked good though.
Please
He
don't.
looked good.
We're not
though.
overreacting, but
he
Ron
looked good
talking
in both
about me
games.
like Ron talking about me like I mean, like this dude right here, he better than you. I'm like, Ron, hold on, my
You
man.
see
I
that
can
block?
play.
You see
That's
that
how
little
that's
block?
how he
That was a good block.
that's why he been playing though. Chill. He been playing like he wants to be talked about that way. He know we get up here for 3 hours every morning and talk about basketball players. He should act like a basketball player.
Since we're on the subject of basketball players, I think that we got kind of thrown off the track with the referees and forgot the fact that Minnesota, I think they shot 30% at the long ball last night, like 5 for 24, something like that. So when you have a game where you shoot over 50%, you can guarantee that the next game is not going to be that. Almost. You can almost guarantee that the next game is not going to be that. So somewhere in the middle is where Minnesota's going to be the next game. So if they're somewhere in the middle the next game, from game 1 where they were through the ceiling, and then yesterday where they were on the floor, game 3 they're going to be somewhere in the middle. You bring that defense and you bring that physicality, and you're on your home floor. The Lakers got a lot of trouble.
Chill. The Lakers shot 20% from 3 last night too.
Yeah, I
Neither
was
team
just
could
gonna
buy
say,
it.
yeah,
That-
just as
that's
bad.
why no one could score. No one could shoot.
Yeah.
Plus the offense is sucked, but no one could shoot, so that didn't help.
No, I just think that it's worth noting that you play the entire season out to get home court,
Yes.
and in one game you lost it. So now if you're the Lakers, you can't just be batting even now. You need to actually go and win in Minnesota. I'm not sure you're gonna win in Minnesota.
Penn, if
I'm
we come
just
back
not
here
sure.
down 3-1, is this series over?
Yeah,
It's
I don't know if it's like
Nah.
over in 5, 6, or it goes to 7. I just think it's hard to make the argument that the Lakers are a better team. They haven't been the better team for a while now. Walking into the playoffs, I think Minnesota is playing better basketball. It is easy to make the argument they have the best player. So if you prescribe to the theory that the team with the best player is going to win the series, that's cool. I just think the depth of Minnesota, I feel like every single series I look at it as like a blueprint. This guy's going to get you one game. This guy might get you one game. Your role players might get you one game, and maybe the refs get you one game, or maybe a lucky shot gets you one game. So sometimes you're like, okay, you're the OKC Thunder. You just get the games for free. Okay, like whatever. You're that good. You're just gonna get them. Like it doesn't matter how you get them. Chet could get you the game. Anybody. But for a series where it's like Denver Clippers, or this one where it's close, even that Detroit New York series, which I think is going to be a lot closer than people think. I feel like you got to get the blueprint of how you're going to do it. You haven't seen the Ant game yet. You got the role player game in game one, right, where the role players hit their shots and Jaden McDaniels went nuts and Naz Reid doing his stuff. I don't think you got Ant. I think Ant can get you 2 games in this series.
2 of them.
I think he can get you 2.
If he can get you 2 games, they win in this series.
And what the hell can LeBron and Luka do?
Thank you. God damn.
Like,
I'm hearing y'all talk about all these role player stuff.
Luka just gave you a game. And by the way,
you call that Luka giving you a game?
Did you see Luka last
night? Luka having a solid Luka game is getting you a game.
Yeah, if you ain't seen that, you ain't seen Luka.
That was not a solid game.
That's a Luka game. If we gonna go box score, what did Luka have? 31, 12, and 9.
That's an average Luka game. That's an average.
Am I crazy or did I see
a Luka game?
Yo, Mars, am I crazy or did I see blood on his knee again?
No, you saw it.
Yeah. He just
with 45. You know what that means?
Splits.
You know what that means?
I don't know.
Blood on his knee.
Rudy got a little boo-boo. Say the Lakers won because of the refs, and then say that they won because of the Luka game.
Bro, I think Minnesota's defense can give them a game. Do we remember last year against the Denver Nuggets?
I don't know. The Lakers just.
I think that Denver Nuggets team was better than this Lakers team last year.
Please stop hyping this Timberwolves.
The Lakers just held the Wolves to 85,
and the Wolves have held them to under 100 in both games.
Bro,
yeah, and they lost the game. You know why? They scored 85.
Better than this Timberwolves team. So.
Yeah, you can hold them under 100. If you score under 90, you lose the game.
Let's not judge teams year to year. We got different squads here.
I want to talk about this. Like the Lakers won the game, and we're talking about what if they were down 3-1. Like I don't understand how
Julius Randle playing like
this is something.
If Julius is going to play like this, then I don't even think you're going to say that this team is worse than last year's team. How is it worse than last year's team?
But you know that's not
the
how
game, and we're doing hypotheticals of what if they go down 3-1? Is the series over?
No.
Yeah, that's just projecting. That's just projecting the next 2 games.
The Lakers won the game, and we talked about why they won the game.
The refs apparently.
No, that wasn't I don't think that had much to do with it. I'm projecting, thinking about exactly what happened in game 1, how lights out they were, and then how bad they were in game 2. So we went from this to this. So we're gonna have to get somewhere in the middle in game 3. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about what happened in game 2 because we already talked about we already talking about everything that the Lakers did in game 2 to win that game. James was great on the glass. The thing that I am concerned with that we haven't brought up yet is the fact that I am relying a lot on both James and Luka to be my primary glass cleaners. I am worried about that because I do have better glass cleaners on my crew in Rudy, in Julius Randle, in Naz Reid. I'm talking about collectively. I'm not talking about individually. I'm talking about collectively. But I'm going to stick primarily, Mars, with the shooting. And again, the fact that they were lights out in game 1, the fact that they just couldn't hit the side of a barn in game 2, we're going home with the momentum. We stole a game, or we got the game that we came to get. We got the game that we came to get. We're going home. I anticipate us being able to shoot better. Not what we did in game 1, where we're shooting 50% at the long ball line, but definitely better than 30%. And I think that they're going to make more open shots.
I think the same can be said about the Lakers, though.
The Lakers went 6 of 29, and the Wolves went 5 of 25.
100%.
Like the difference was 0.7%.
Yes,
so
sir.
The law of averages is going to hit the Lakers too, right?
Yes, 100%, Mars. So now, where is the difference with this? Now you do have the 2 best players in the series. You got both Luka and you got 2 of the 3 best players in the series. You got Luka and you got James. I'm not going to argue, and I won't argue that. However, with the Minnesota Timberwolves, with their defense and your lack of offense, with only these 2 guys, if we can slow these guys down, if we can let these guys do what they do and slow down those other guys like Austin Reeves, who they've made him very average. Guys like Gabe Vincent, who they've made things difficult for him, and we all know that bench players don't play very well on the road. We know that. If we could get our rotation players to play better, shoot the ball better, and get better defense, I think you got a better shot.
So bench players don't play well on the road, but you guys, after game 1, came up here doing kickstands, backflips, somersaults, and everything because Dante DiVincenzo hit a couple threes
I'm telling
because
you, Ron, I
Nas
didn't watch
Reed came
that
and went
for a
off.
reason.
But
Dante
bitch,
like
but
that.
us, hey,
Nah, to be fair, Nas Reed, Dante, they were hooping. I ain't gonna lie.
no, they
Ron,
were
what's
hooping,
what's
but
the kick
Jalen
game?
Nah, but that's what they was doing. I'm saying, but role players and bench players don't play well on the road, but these guys did, and you guys gave them their flowers. But you mean to tell me that the Los Angeles Lakers can't go to Minnesota and Austin Reeves all of a sudden can't have an Austin Reeves night, and that Rui Hachimura can't hit 4 threes?
Biased.
He could.
Analysis.
He 100.
It just,
Right.
all of this just sounds very
Right.
biased.
Just say you want the
Ron.
Lakers to lose, and we can leave it at this.
Hands
Like, you guys are hyping this Minnesota team.
Right.
Hey, just say what it is.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
God damn.
No,
Hear it.
that is not
I
what
ain't,
that
heard,
is.
I ain't heard y'all hype a group of average role players ever like this.
Hey,
Ever.
they're not average.
Ron, ever.
Hey,
Ron, what are you
Ron,
ever?
I'm with you.
Scratch
Ron, I'm
bullshit.
with you.
What
I
are you
think
talking about?
this sounds like particularly
Oh my God.
this sounds like very wishful thinking for Minnesota and all the ways the Lakers can possibly lose and ignoring all the ways they can actually win the series.
I just said that they got
the
two of the
Minnesota
best
role
players in
players
the
are-
series, Mars. That's it. That's enough right there. They got
Sure.
the two best players. They got two of the
Not
three
really
best
when
players
you-
in the
not really
series.
when you say, well, the Wolves are going to shoot better, and then ignore the fact the Lakers could do the exact same thing.
And they can.
And then you
but-
talk about role players on the road, they're going to play
Sure.
worse. When the reason the Wolves won the first game is because the role players on the road played amazingly.
and their
So
role
why
players
can't
are
the
better
Lakers
than the
role
Lakers
players
role
do the same
players.
But all you need is a game, right?
You do only need a game. However,
So why can't they play well for a game? Why
They-
can't us threes
well,
give you
they-
a game? Why can't
okay.
Gabe Vincent give you a game? Why can't that happen? Why can't DFS?
Why
give you a
can't
game?
LeBron give you a game?
he
We ain't
100%
talked about
can give you a
Bron.
game.
Bron's
Why is that not
capable of
possible?
giving you a 35
I watched the Lakers go into OKC and the role players gave him a game. I watched the Lakers go into Houston and the role players gave him a game. So why can't that happen? Why can't
It
DFS
can
go
happen.
make 6
It
threes?
100%
Why
can
can't
happen.
Ruby go make 5 threes?
It
Why
100%
can't
can
You know,
Gabe
happen.
Vincent
when
make
I
4 threes?
say it,
All
when
of it is all the ways the Lakers can lose and the Wolves are going to win because of this, and then they just ignore the ways the Lakers could do the exact same thing. Like it just feels.
We're not
biased.
ignoring that,
I would
Mars.
feel much better.
I'm
if
not
I was
ignoring
thinking
that.
I want the Lakers to lose. I'd feel much better. I feel much better. Be like, I don't like the Lakers. I want y'all motherfuckers to lose. Just say
I
it.
don't like the Lakers. I want you guys to lose. I just put that.
That's fine because we can work our last in the second round. So that's cool. That's cool here.
I would much rather the Lakers and the Wolves.
How are
I
they
don't have
getting
any
to
dog
the
in this
second
fight.
round,
I
John
don't.
D?
I'm just saying. I'm going stand by
I don't
my
have
team.
any dog in this
I want
fight.
both teams
None.
to
How does this all of a sudden turn into an agenda?
Because that's what it's been for 37 minutes. Like, what are we? It's been an agenda for 37 minutes. The only person who has a pushing
We just talked about how good. We just talked about what the Lakers did in order to win. We just did that.
Mhm.
It wasn't how bad Minnesota was.
Yeah, it was the rest.
We
yeah.
talked.
It was.
We brought up officiating, which I was like, what is this officiating shit about? Which is just not true. No, we talked about how good Luka was. We talked about how good the Lakers were. What is this agenda shit about?
You spoke about how good the Luka was. Yeah, sure.
Luka was, and for all intents and purposes, I mean, James was great on the glass last night. Great on the glass last night. I think what do you have, 12 or 13 rebounds, something like that. I don't know how many contested, Mars. I didn't look at that. I don't know how many contested rebounds he had, but I mean, the
Weren't
Lakers,
a lot, Joe.
right?
Weren't
I
a
mean,
lot.
the Lakers. To John D's point, he's concerned about their offense, and he's concerned about what's going on off the ball. That's a valid concern. That has nothing to do with pushing an agenda.
No,
Just
I
like
agree with
just like I'm concerned with the Minnesota Timberwolves offense, especially late in games, and Anthony Edwards' ability to make decisions when he's getting blitzed or when he has the ball. I'm concerned with that. Now, can they play better at home? They could play better at home. So could the Lakers. The Lakers could play better on the road. However, the Minnesota Timberwolves rotation guys have been good. They've been really good. Can they keep doing this? And can the Lakers rotation players be better? We're gonna find out. We're 100% gonna find out. I
They
still think the
will.
difference in this series
I think
is Austin Reed.
I think Minnesota came in.
It's slowing Austin
I
Reed
think
down.
Because they're not
Minnesota-
going to be in foul trouble.
I
It'll
think
be LA
Minnesota.
this time. My fault, Pan. Go ahead, Pan.
I think Minnesota came in with one goal. I wish they'd come in with a grander goal, but I think they came in with one goal, which was to get home court advantage.
Yes, I do.
Mission accomplished. Okay, chill. I'm gonna ask you, word to God, hand on your Bible, be honest. Have you ever played a basketball game where you walked into the gym and thought, we're probably gonna get smacked tonight? We all have. Okay, you might not
Who is
have.
we?
I have definitely walked into a game thinking, I hope we don't get blown up by 40. Okay.
I've been on really good teams, though. To be honest with you,
That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
I've been on really.
I could be on the worst team in the world. I'm
Okay.
not going in thinking we're gonna get smoked.
I've
been on some really good teams also, but I've definitely walked in the gym and known from the get-go, like, yeah, let's have a good time, boys.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
You can think you're gonna lose.
getting smoked is something different.
I think
You can think, yeah, they might be better than us, but we're gonna keep it close. And if we keep it close, we have a chance.
man, if you haven't felt that way, I'm just gonna assume that we haven't played enough basketball because there's really, you know, what I mean, I don't know.
I'm gonna go back to something from the last. I'm gonna go back to something from the Last Dance. You know, pull on some little OG Michael Jordan wisdom on this one, where he was talking about how without Pippen in the lineup, a lot of these teams were racking up wins and they were building confidence. Like, oh, these teams are building confidence because now they beat the Chicago Bulls. That fear factor is very real. That when you walk into the gym and you get a team down 4-5, thing doesn't go their way, they kind of break. It's a psychological thing to basketball. Sometimes it just does come down to this. If I get you down 12-14, do you fold? Or do you feel like you still got a chance? I got to break your will in a series at some point. I feel like, I don't know if the Denver Nuggets would ever admit to this. I feel like how Minnesota beat them up last year, it almost like broke their will. It got into their head a little bit. The fact that Minnesota came in and stomped them in game one, not only do you lose home court advantage, you also lose that edge where now Minnesota really knows they can beat you in your building. Now you got to go find out if you can beat them in their building. I don't know if you can. We'll find out over the next 2 games. But I do believe that Anthony Edwards, as much as I'm up here saying Luka's been the best player in this series so far, and he has been, and he might be the best player in this series, I believe that for the next 5 games, if you told me Anthony Edwards was the best player in this series for the next 5 games, I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's that good.
I think Ant is that good.
Why do you hate that, Ron? Ron, why do you hate that?
Because Penn keeps bringing up last year and all of this and this, that,
It counts.
and third. We are talking about the dude who averages the second most 2
Michael Jordan, by the way.
playoff points in NBA history.
Mm-hmm.
We are talking about Luka the Don. Hey, and when April comes around, this Luka shit. We talking about Ant. Come on, Penn, stop. And we see the only reason why I'm just this is just going straight out the window for me is because we seen what he did to the Wolves last year. I know, granted, different situation, different team, different whatever. He still had the belt down.
So it's okay for you to bring up last year, but Penn can't.
I brought up last year because he brought up last year. I started my statement by saying that. I said,
two wrongs don't make it right, brother.
Oh well, hey, in this situation, we both wrong, we both right. He brought up last year, so I'm saying if you want to be the guy to go to last year, let's go to last year then. What did history tell us last year? I know Ant was younger; he was only 22.
Well, guess what? Ant's afraid of these guys. I don't think Ant's
got to be afraid to lose.
You
don't gotta be afraid. So what do you think Luka is?
It certainly helps not to be afraid, though.
You're gonna win. I'm sure Ant ain't scared of the 17 Warriors either. They still gonna get their ass whooped. It don't matter. It don't matter who you're scared of.
Isn't Luka averaging something like 34 games in these last 2 games?
Something like that.
37 and 31.
Yeah, he's averaging like 34 games, something like that.
We have all seen this Minnesota defense lock up, okay? And when they get into the gaps, and I don't think they played a great game last time. I'm gonna be honest. Talk about the refs all you want. Talk about Luka being great. Talk about Ant's decision making on the blitz. I just don't think they played physical last night. They were complaining to the refs. They were like, they just didn't feel locked in. They from the jump. That's how you get down 20 in the first quarter. You're not locked in. You are not playing in the gaps. You are not executing sharp. I believe that this team is going to go home. They're going to say, okay, we took care of business. Mission 1 was get home court advantage. Now protect home court. I feel like if the Lakers want to win game 3 or game 4, they are going to have to fight for it harder than they fought for anything over the last year. They're gonna have to fight for that one. They're not gonna get. I don't think.
So this is the championship. This is the Larry O'Brien. Yeah, they get the Larry O'Brien trophy if they win this series. The Minnesota Timberwolves ain't the Mountain Peak. I don't know. Yo, Lakers are 5. I don't need to say
Lakers are 5.
I don't know where
they're missing your point, bro.
Definitely higher on the peaks of the Lakers than I am, but I just
nah.
This is a series. That's where I'm at on it. This is a series.
Yeah, like,
it could go either way to me. I picked the Lakers
Five?
pre-series, and I think John D. I picked them in 5. I think.
Yeah, you picked them in 5. I picked them in 6.
Now, am I standing on 5? Maybe not. But the Lakers did do some things that they addressed their flaws from game 1. Their transition defense was amazing yesterday.
Amazing.
That was the thing that killed them in game 1. They addressed it. Their transition defense was great. Now, neither team could buy a 3. That didn't help. But like they stuck to their defensive principles in terms of how they guard, and they did throw some blitzes in there, which I think was cool. But for the most part, it was similar defensive principles they've been running for 3 months. And the Wolves still struggled. So like they stuck to their guns on that. Offensively, I still don't like them, but I didn't like them going into the series. That wasn't my focus. So like the series has gone, I don't want to say to my expectations, but 1-1 isn't shocking to me. And like I think the Lakers could very well win in 5, and I think the Wolves very well could win in 6. I doubt the Lakers don't win another game, but like I think either team could win the series. I don't think there's any definites here personally. I just whatever happens.
As the resident Laker defender on this platform.
Oh shit!
I'm just saying, as the resident Laker guy on this platform, I do got to say, I think it was pretty egregious for y'all to come up here acting like this was all about the referees and asking questions like, "What happens if the Lakers go down 3-1? What happens if the Timberwolves go down 3-1? What happens if
talk about it?
What happens if Luka and Bron go up to Minneapolis?
The reason why we brought this up, the reason why I brought that up was because the Minnesota Timberwolves took home court advantage, and they have both of those games on their home floor. Yes. That's why I had the scenario if they go home and win both of these games. That's why I said that. Not to say that the Lakers can't go up there and take home floor advantage back. That's not to say that the Lakers I'm just not big on home court advantage in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just not big on professional basketball players not being able to shoot because they're not in their arena. You know what I mean?
The Lakers probably have more fans in Minneapolis than the T-Wolves do.
No, they don't.
Right.
The Lakers,
they was in Minneapolis first.
Yeah, exactly.
They should wear their throwback jerseys.
Like,
they should wear their throwback jerseys to get a psychological
do the Lakers
edge.
ever really not have home court advantage? Like, is there ever an arena they go into besides maybe like when Steph's around that they're like they don't have the fan on their side?
Besides Sacramento, there's a lot of Lakers. There's a lot of Lakers.
You guys are the good. But like for the most part, the Lakers gonna have more fans in the arena. Like it's not really gonna make it.
Am I trying to understand that I'm up here with 4 people who think that the Lakers are actually the better team in this series? Like I don't even care if you think they're gonna win.
You got one.
I don't know about
you
this.
think the Lakers are a better team?
Yes, Pin.
Top to bottom, the Lakers don't have to be a better team. I still think they're going to win.
I think they're better in the matchup. I think they're better.
Okay,
they don't have to be a better team.
I think they're more dependable.
Like the one thing that led to me giving the Wolves a prayer was the size advantage and the physicality. And I want to start by saying I agree with John D about Rudy Gobert's defense. I think he's been great. I don't know how you're in year 12 and you're the worst offensive player I've ever seen. I'm sorry, I don't understand. He can't do anything. The reason he's not on the court for a lot of minutes in these games is because he's doing nothing offensively. Not one thing. He's not offensive rebounding, which he was meant to do against the small ball lineup. That was meant to be the advantage. Because he can't punish a post up in a mismatch. You can't do that. So it's like, okay, he's going to give offensive rebounds. That's going to be the value. He's not doing that. He's just getting bullied on the glass. So they're not getting those extra opportunities that they got in game 1 with Julius Randle and Nas reading them. So he can't play on the court on that side. The screening hasn't been great. He can't play in the pocket. So when they are putting 2 on Ant, he's doing nothing in the middle of the floor. They're having to force skip passes because Ant doesn't trust Rudy to catch a lob. And then when he does finally catch a rebound, he drops the ball. Like, what does he do? Like, I'm sorry, like that. The one thing I thought this was going to be the advantage was the size, and Rudy's not providing the advantage that was meant to come with size.
But then what he'll do is like 2 of the last 3 games. It's nuts, man, because what he'll do is like 2 of the last 3 games, he'll give me almost 20 and 20, and he'll be finishing around the rim at an elite level. And then he'll have a game where he doesn't look like he can score against a high school team. And then he'll look like he's just Chamberlain around the rim. And then he looks like he shouldn't even be on the floor, not just on the defensive end, but on the offensive end too. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is with him because 1 minute,
that's what it is.
One minute, even if it's a lack of skill, it's not that difficult as a big. It's not that difficult as a big to catch the basketball here, put the ball in the basket. That's not difficult at all as a pro.
I'm not big, so I can't
It's
attest
not.
to that.
I played with
he makes
bigs.
it look
It's
difficult.
not that difficult to catch the ball around the rim and put the ball in the hole. That's not hard, especially when it's in the pocket. And then he shows that he can do that because he's done it before. And then he completely goes away from that, where he looks like he has no idea what he's doing. 1 minute, he looks like he's fantastic on the glass, where he's pulling down 22, 23 rebounds. And then the next minute, he can't rebound against Vando. And I'm thinking to myself, what's going on here? You can't
He's much better at home. Just saying. He's much better at home.
It's easier to catch a ball now. It's easier to catch a ball.
I'm not kidding.
As a pro,
like last year, he was 7% more
more
efficient
5-man in the NBA
at home.
As a starting 5-man in the NBA, with around the rim, getting the ball fired to me. We go over this stuff. This isn't me just showing up. We go over this stuff. We go over. This is where I want the ball at. This is where I'm putting my hand here because this is where I want you to put the ball, and it goes there. As a big, whether I'm on the road, whether I'm in Los Angeles, doesn't make a difference. As a big, I play around the basket. This is the reason why Rudy's got his hands up. This is the reason why bigs around the basket have their hands up, because this is where they want the ball. So when he's catching the ball around the rim and he is scoring, and then to Mars's point, he looks like he couldn't even play at the park because he won't get on the glass and he's getting pushed around. Defensively, he looked really good. And then 1 minute, he looks like he can't play. I can't put my finger on what's going on with Rudy. I really can't.
All right, fellas. Right quick, we are going to take a nice little tour over the Prize Picks, where you can run your game, control your game, and ultimately win your game. And after you download the Prize Picks app, you will get $50 instantly when you play just 5. Now, check this out, y'all. Right now on Prize Picks, they have something called Takes to Tickets. That means your good takes can take you to courtside tickets at the NBA Finals. Every time you make a $5 3-pick NBA flex lineup during the playoffs, you will be entered into a sweepstakes. And every day of the playoffs is a new opportunity for you to enter, as well as cash in on your playoff takes. I know I'm doing it. I know Ox is doing it. I know I'm going to be at the finals because, well, I just got good takes. So y'all download the Prize Picks app, use promo code PANEL, redeem your $50. Play $5 and enter the sweepstakes to potentially sit courtside at the NBA Finals. This is what we looking like today. This is how we rocking. $20 turns into $200 with Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy Butler, that is, going more than 23 points. Payton Pritchard, 6th man of the year, Payton Pritchard, that is, going more on his PRA than 19.5. Bam Adebayo and Jared Allen, rebounds combo, 20.5. So walk in the park for them. And then we got Darius Garland going more than 19.5 points. And that will get us $200. Thank you. Come again.
That looks like easy money.
Jimmy Butler gonna have 6 tonight.
In a winning effort or in a loss?
Rockets in 5.
Dude, I've been looking at home road splits for the entire Minnesota roster. Oh my God. Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert, all of them are way better at home. Way better. Good luck.
Watch what happens. Hey, Penn. So Penn on whenever they play game 3 and I get a 17 and 13 game from Rudy, and this is, I don't want to talk about it because this shit just gonna
17 what? Rebounds?
17
gonna make me crazy.
Minutes.
Oh, okay. Damn sure.
Because they're gonna foul him out too. Okay, cool.
Damn sure ain't gonna be points.
My bad.
Yeah, because Rudy never scores in the playoffs. He never gets double digits in the playoffs. That never happens. You're right.
17 in double digits. That's nearly quadruple digits for Rudy.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Well, Rudy doesn't have to score 17 points to be effective, though. That's the good thing.
I agree. I think he was effective yesterday.
But if he does score 17, see when Rudy does score, it is pretty effective because of the way he scores. When he scores, it's like extra points. You know what I'm saying? And it has a really big impact on his team. So if he does score 17 points, no,
bro, he's averaging 4 points per game. Like, it's crazy to say that out loud. He's averaging 4 points per game. This is a career 13-point per game playoff score. I don't know if you want to say law of averages, he's due for a 20. He's due for a 20.
He scored
Okay?
double digits 56 times in the playoffs.
That's awesome. It's basically half of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's amazing.
Shout out to Rudy Gobert. 56 times in the playoffs. He scored double digits in 71 games. So, he locking in.
Imagine that. Wow.
Now, how many
Catch
times
the ball around the rim and put it in the basket? How about that? Holy shit!
I did
the ball around the rim. Wow.
I missed the Bucks Pacers game. Are we gonna jump into that at all? Because I definitely would like an update from the fellas on that one.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But before we get to that game, I want all the Laker fans to take heed, because apparently, let's take a look back into the future. Apparently, the Minnesota Timberwolves at home, their splits are completely different. So game 3, this is what's going to happen. Naz Reid's going to go for 50. Rudy Gobert's going to go for 30 and 20. And Dante DiVincenzo's going to hit 10 threes. Game 4 is going to roll around. And by the way, the Minnesota Timberwolves are up 2-1 at this moment in time. Game 4 is going to roll around, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker is going to put the team on his back, and Julius Randle's going to hit a 40-piece, and the Lakers are going to be down 3-1. Well, the reason why I'm telling you this right now is because you have the opportunity to go support your team and change the tides, change the course of history. With the Game Time app, you can get in the game and you can wear your Laker jersey in Minneapolis and cheer them on and lead them to victory. But here's the thing. This is what you got to do first. You got to download the Game Time app. You got to use promo code CLNS. And when you do that, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Now, terms apply, obviously, but when you create an account, you can redeem that $20 off when you use promo code CLNS. And with the Game Time app, you'll be able to, get 60% off last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc., etc. The Game Time app makes it so much easier to get those hard playoff seats that you can't usually get. Like, if you're a Laker fan, trying to get Game 3 seats in Minnesota or Game 4 seats. So what are you waiting for? Download the app, create an account, use code CLNS, get $20 off your first purchase, and we'll see you in Minneapolis when Rudy Gobert goes 30 and 20.
Don't play with Dante. He might hit 10 threes. You might be cooking with that.
30 and 20.
Yeah, them Timberwolves cheap seats is $500.
On the Game Time app?
Tickets to see Paige versus Caitlin Clark's first game, I think it goes up to $1,200.
You didn't use the Game Time app.
If I'd used the Game Time app, I would have got $10 tickets. Nice.
Yeah, well, I know where we are going to be tonight. Tonight, we're going to be in Houston. Watching
I might pull up
the Rockets and the Warriors. Y'all make sure to pull up. This is going to be a good time tonight. And that's that.
Rockets in 5.
You don't even believe that.
It was going to be in 4, but we lost game 1. So, Rockets in 5.
All right, fellas. Well, let's get on to the next series. OKC is making light and quick work of the Memphis Grizzlies. I got my man Capers up here. He is the resident OKC guy. Can you tell us what you seen last night and just in the series in totality?
I mean, bro, they've been doing historical stuff all season, man. It's the 8 seed for a reason. We're the 1 seed for a reason. And we're doing everything that we're seeing besides Shea's offense is everything I expected. I'm not going to lie. Like, I expected us to play elite defense, make shots, run in transition, make life tough on Jaren Jackson, Ja Morant, and they're doing everything I expected. So, I mean, not too surprised here.
Do you guys know that in the 5 games before the playoffs started, and I ain't even talking about in the past, just this season alone, Oklahoma City has beaten the Memphis Grizzlies this season by an average margin of 25 a game.
Yep.
So every time they play them, they smoke them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the craziest
every time they play
ever heard, Chill. I'm gonna watch you lose your mind in real time. Are you ready for this?
We just beating.
If you count every single OKC single digit win as a loss, they would still be the number 1 seed. Does that blow your mind?
That's to tell you what you need to know, bro.
So every time they won by
9, 8,
9 or
7,
less.
whatever. That's a
And
loss.
that counted
And they'd
as a loss.
still be the number 1 seed.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
they won the
what
Western
the
They were
hell,
like
Conference.
man?
20
regular
games up.
season.
They were like 20 games up.
Yeah, well, like 16 or something like that. Like 16
Yes.
games up.
They lost by
something crazy like that.
They won by single digits, less than 16 times.
Yeah. They've been blowing.
And they would
shit
still
out
be the
of
number
everybody.
one.
They've been doing
and
the
they'd
same
still be
thing,
the number
man.
1 seed.
Dude, honestly,
Crazy.
I sat there. Look, I'm gonna make it very clear. Raptors not in the playoffs. I'm supporting OKC 100%. That is my team right now.
Mhm.
Shea's Canadian, Lou's Canadian. Love their style of basketball. Love Mark Daigneault. Love that entire organization. Beyond them, I'm rooting for the Clippers, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Pistons. Those are like the 4 teams. Yes, I care about defense. I'm rooting for 4 of the best defenses in this entire thing, right?
Mhm.
I supported the Raptors through a lot of losing this year. The only time this year that I felt truly depressed to be a Raptor fan, and I really had to go and pour out some cognac, was when I watched the OKC Thunder stomp them live. I was there in person. I was sitting there looking at the halftime. I'm like, how much longer is this going to last? This is embarrassing. It felt like I was watching a college team versus a pro team. It was ridiculous. I'd never seen these players didn't know how to breathe. Like Grady Dick is looking around at his coach like, bro, take me out, put somebody else in. They make you want to quit. It feels like, honestly, the best way I could describe the OKC Thunder is like you're playing 6-on-5.
Yeah.
It feels like you're playing 6-on-5. The way they rotate, the way they sit in the gaps, the way they recover, how quick they are, how positionally versatile they are. Every single time you think you have an opening, it evaporates just as soon as you see it. It's crazy. I understand a lot of people pick against them because they're young and they haven't proven it. I feel like, what do we play the regular season for if they ain't proven shit? They've been stomping teams all year, and we're saying the league is about as talented as it's ever been. And this team is running roughshod over the league. That has to count for something. It's not like they caught people off guard. They've been doing this.
That's what I'm saying, Pen. That's what I'm saying.
They're getting everyone's best shot, and you're still losing by 20.
Yeah,
I don't know. This Memphis team is getting a lot of hate right now. They're getting a lot of hate because they got blown up by 51. I'm just saying, there's 9, 10 teams in the playoffs they could have done this to.
And then to turn around and get blown out by 20.
And they haven't even gotten a good Shea game yet. That's the crazy thing. Last night he had 27 points on 10 for 29.
They don't do well at all.
When he goes off for 40, you might actually break the record.
Maybe Shea's just a playoff drop.
Mars,
not.
Mars. I was gonna give it. I was gonna give it. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a couple of more games, Mars, before we start to have this conversation. Because I vividly remember sitting here and listening to you dudes have 12-gauge shotguns shooting them at me when Jason Tatum was building a house last season in the playoffs.
Facts.
That's 100%.
They won, and all we had to hear was that Jason Tatum was getting Kyrie.
He was building a house.
And he's not that good. Maybe Shea.
Hey, I was one of them.
I'm with you, Chill.
I gotta admit.
I was sitting here and I was in front of a firing squad. So I'm gonna give it a little bit more time. I'm gonna give your man some more grace, Kate. But if this continues, I know what's gonna happen.
I got you.
Somebody might have to start talking to me. Somebody gonna have to start talking to me because this is unacceptable.
Chill. I was one of them.
Oh
with
my
Tatum,
goodness.
Oh my goodness. I was on Tatum's head,
Tatum
boy.
can't do this. He can't score. He can't shoot. And I'm watching 10 for 29, 5 for 15 in the front. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything right now. I'm gonna keep this to myself. I'm gonna let this be because it's incredible how what winning does, right? Winning masks a lot of things.
I've been trying to say
winning 100%. Can you imagine if Oklahoma City with Shea shooting like this? You know what? I don't want to talk about Shea shooting.
If it was 1-1 with Shea doing this, the conversation would be
that'd be a lot different.
But
I don't want to talk about this right now because again, it's a small sample size and we just started. They're dealing with an inferior Memphis team. They're clearly better than them. Clearly. Even though Memphis cut into the lead yesterday, I think Memphis cut it to 6.
Got it to 8 or 6.
Yeah, I think they cut it to 6 at one point. And I'd be lying to you guys if I said I sat there and watched that whole game because I didn't. I did not. I clearly saw that this is the better team. They made Ja a jump shooter. Not only did they make Ja a jump shooter, they kept him out of the lane as much as possible. Having Ja, I'm living with Ja shooting pull-up threes in transition. I'm living with Ja shooting standstill threes. I'm living with that. I'm living with keeping Ja in front of us and keeping Ja away from the rim. I'm definitely living with that all night long. Now, and again, we haven't had a better shooting game from Shea, but the rest of those guys, I mean, I've always felt like Chet is the difference. And Chet last night on the glass, in particular, on the glass and as a rim protector, I mean, he did everything that's necessary in order for them to win. So Memphis shouldn't get a game in this series. This series should be over in 4.
No, they should be over right now. They should forfeit.
They should forfeit.
I'm not watching the rest of this series. I'm telling you, I'm not watching it. Shea could go out and have
Mars. They just
watch like the possessions after the fact. I'm not wasting my time watching the rest of this series.
But Mars is going back to Memphis.
Yeah, for game
they're
playing at home.
Yes, they are.
Everybody gets superpowers at home.
Not everybody.
I'm sorry, I'm not wasting my time with the rest of this series. I'm not wasting my time. I'm not wasting my time with the rest of this series. This series is unserious. Shout out to Chet. Chet's been great, but I'm going to shout out my GOAT, man, because I think he's the reason why this game was a blowout. My GOAT, Alex Caruso, man.
Oh,
he's so good. He's so good. I'm sorry.
Baller.
He's one of the best defensive guards I've seen in my lifetime. Very short lifetime. So obviously you guys have the experience of going back and seeing all these great guys. With my own 2 eyes that I watch live, Alex Caruso is the best defensive guard I've seen. I'll say that, and I'll say that with full conviction. I understand Drew Holiday's. I understand Marcus Smart's. Ben Simmons doesn't count to me. He's 6'10".
Tony Allen.
I understand. I actually didn't watch Tony Allen live. I wasn't watching basketball.
Yo, Mars, get on your shit.
Are we talking about something? Mars, are we talking about something?
Oh yeah, I spoke about Ben Simmons yesterday. So in my short time. So when I say in my lifetime watching basketball, we're talking like the last 8 years. Like let's just remember that we're talking like the last 8 years. He's the best defensive guard the NBA.
Like 2017. So
like 6 years, but we'll say 8 years. He's like the best defensive guard in the NBA.
Well, let me ask you this, Mars. Are we talking about something specific, or are we talking about overall as a defensive?
His overall defensive impact. I don't think he's the best at every single aspect of defense, but I think when you just in totality, cumulative defensive impact, Alex Caruso is the best the NBA has had. We'll round it up in the last decade. He's the best the NBA has had in the last decade.
Because I think as an on-ball defender, and I'm a big-time Drew Holiday fan, like we can have a conversation. We can, because Alex Caruso sits in a chair. And he beats you to spots. His ability to beat guys to spots, how busy his hands stay, how physical he is, and how he's able to navigate around screens and anticipate screens and know how to get around them. I mean, he's great at that. Now, off the basketball, I mean, I think Drew may be a little bit better in that, and Drew's versatility in the post, I think he's a little bit better in that area. But as an on-ball defender, I see guys get off the ball quick when they got him in front of them. Nope. Let's see if we can get something else. Or I see guys calling for screens when Alex Caruso is in front of him. It's never a guy standing in front of Alex Caruso and going, bring the peel over here, me and him. No.
I think I would have to go with Avery Bradley, Drew Holiday, Drew Holiday, Tony Allen. I think I'll put those guys ahead of Alex Caruso. But that's not no knock to Alex Caruso.
Yeah, but he's up there for sure.
He's a game changer on that defensive end of the court. That's why when they got Alex Caruso, you can see how that accelerated. Alex Caruso and iHeart, that accelerated from where they were from last year to this year. those two, specifically talking about Alex Caruso right now, he's a difference maker, a serious difference maker. And I agree with you, Mars. He's very impressive. Even back in 2020 though. When him and Ray John was out there on the perimeter, giving dudes hell, you could see it then. But I think he's stronger now. You know what I'm saying? Smarter now, and he just has like the IQ, the defensive awareness. It's like he knows where to be already. So you can see he's just grown into one of the best perimeter defenders. Yeah, man, he's a joy to watch play basketball. I love watching Alex Caruso play basketball.
Ron, to your point, going home, I mean, home court advantage does do a lot for players. Now, does that mean that you're going to win? No, that doesn't mean that you're going to win. And to Ox's point, I was in Sacramento in 2002. It was dangerous in there. It was not a fun place to be. I was looking around in there like I might have to watch my back because it was dangerous in there. It wasn't a lot of purple and gold in there. I can tell you that right now. It wasn't, and it was dangerous in that place. Like I'm thinking when this game is over, I don't know if I'm waiting for the big fella. I might have to just get up out of here. Because
Arco was different.
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna continue to say this. The Lakers would love a guy like Alex Caruso, man.
Imagine
if we had Alex Caruso right now.
John D. See, that's the problem. Y'all want everything, bro. Calm down. Put your head.
That's how we were raised, Docs.
John D. John D. I'm gonna tell you how we was raised. When you come up in this store, Don't ask for nothing. Don't touch nothing. In fact, put your hands in your pocket and walk right next to me.
How can you expect me to act when all the goods have just been dropped in my palms?
Yeah, they just got Luka 2 months ago. Like, I'm sorry.
Like, you can't tell me to take the Laker fan out of me. You can't take the Laker fandom out of me. We get everything we want.
Anything more annoying than Laker fans?
Damn,
Raptors fans, Ben. Raptors fans.
Damn,
Shots fired.
I didn't ask for Luka. He came to my doorstep and was like, "Hey man, I got these bags. Where do I stay? I got these bags, man. Where do I stay?" I didn't say, "Hey, we need to go get Luka." He knocked on our door. He was like, "Yo, bro, I'm here. Let's do it. Let's chill."
John D opening the door like, "What you doing here?" He like, "Yo,
right,
man,
and come on, I'll make space. AD, you gotta find somewhere else to stay.
Just don't, yo, John D.
Actually,
just don't come up here and cry when Ant steals your chain. Just don't come up here and cry.
Ain't no Raptors chain to steal. Ain't no Raptors chain to steal.
I hope y'all get Alex Caruso. Matter of fact,
hold on, don't say that. Don't say that.
I hope y'all get J Dub, Alex Caruso, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Lakers.
It's not out the cards, man. It's not out the cards.
Oh, they gonna get it.
John D looking outside.
It's coming sooner than later.
At his door, like, is somebody fucking with me? What's going on? Wait, what happened? Get your ass in here. Hurry up.
Yeah. Who else has thoughts on this series and specifically last night's game?
Are we talking Bucks yet?
No, we took
Memphis.
Chat looks amazing. Yeah,
they shouldn't win the game in the series. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I think Memphis played competently well yesterday, as well as they could.
Yeah.
I think in this series overall, I mean, Marvin Bagley in game 1 was a lone bright spot. I mean, it's weird.
Can we have a discussion about Marvin Bagley?
Half-court shot.
Can we talk about Marvin Bagley, please?
Let's talk about him.
Bro, I think the craziest thing I heard was Marvin Bagley hits a half-court 3 to bring the lead to 50 or something. Like, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's nuts. Okay, I mean, look, it's I think Memphis is catching a lot of, why'd you even make the playoffs? It was going to be like this. I got news for you. It was going to be like this for anybody to make the playoffs. Was Dallas was going to be like this? It literally don't matter. Okay, I just think this team is a lot better than people realize. Largely because I don't think a lot of people watch the OKC Thunder play basketball.
Oh, they got a good ass team,
There's something you can't teach about being, and this is why I say championship DNA doesn't mean you have to have a championship. When you are up 30 and guys are still diving on the floor to get loose balls and crashing the offensive glass like they're down 20, what can I call that if not championship DNA?
I'm trying to keep my job. That's what I'm trying to do.
Like, we're getting to a point where it's like they're playing like they're losing and they're up 30. Like, you can't teach that. You can't teach that urgency. That's something you either have or you don't.
That's the craziest thing is they were up 20, 25, and they looked like they were desperate, like really desperate. Like they're diving. You got guys crashing the glass. You got guys sprinting hard, cutting lanes. They're just this incredibly okay. The best way I can describe it is they move like one on both ends. It's perfect. It's like there's a sort of weird synergistic energy between them offensively and defensively. They cover for each other consistently. If one guy gets beat, you're literally facing the next guy within a split second. Offensively, one guy makes a cut, the other guy always reads it. They have really just smart basketball players. They're one of the best coaches. You talk about your lifetime, which goes back to watching basketball 8 years. I will very much say, I don't want to say the best. This might be one of the 3 best coach teams I've ever seen in my life. They are so well coached. You can talk about the talent all you want, and I cannot believe I lost that debate. I fumbled that debate on the deepest team. Alex Caruso is 8th in minutes on the OKC Thunder. How are they not one of the deepest teams in NBA history? He would start on basically every team in the league. I can't think of a team that he wouldn't start on. But he's 8th in their minutes. This team is unfairly good. And you know what? And you know what I appreciate about the OKC Thunder? Ain't nobody drop shit into their lap. Nobody conspired to give them anything.
They trying to
They got a lot of shit in their lap.
They worked
a whole lot of
this.
shit.
Hey, let's
Yes,
take some
they
breathing.
did. They
Let's take some
definitely
breathing
did.
practice.
Relax, Pin. Not too far, brother. They got a lot of shit in their laps.
No,
But Morris,
Let's breathe.
Easy. Just draft picks, whole bunch of draft picks. But and SGA. But Morris,
they traded for them.
yeah, I know. In the Lakers,
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah,
but I don't even care about that. I don't even want against that. I don't even care about that. Mars, I wish that yesterday when y'all was having that conversation, I was trying to get in there so I could get y'all to, be exact and kind of talk about what y'all meant by championship DNA. Because I do think there's a difference from just being a dog and knowing how to win and being a champion. I do, but I think in this team you have a lot of that together. You know what I'm saying? I think you have a lot of guys that are just fighting. They're just there. It's like the Wu-Tang Clan. Like, we together, but we fighting each other. Like, I'm fighting y'all. I'm fighting y'all for time. Like, I want to be out here too. I think they got a lot of guys that want to be on the court. A lot of guys that know that they have to do certain things for Coach Dagenhart to put them on the court, and they're gonna do that. I think that's something that you instill in this team early. They didn't build that as the season came on. They were already like that. And then Alex Caruso and iHeart came in there too. And I think that's something you do during the summertime, during the offseason. Coach Dagenhart is instilling that in them, and they're accepting it and knowing, like, we got to fight every step of the way. Coach is not going to accept any letdowns. They look like a championship basketball team the way they play basketball. You know what I mean? And I don't know what the DNA thing is, because, like I said, y'all didn't really, clarify what championship DNA was yesterday when y'all was talking about it. But whatever it is, they got it.
To me, championship DNA is just being a winner. That's what it is.
Does Kyle Kuzma have championship?
Right, well, that
he has a championship.
No.
Having a championship doesn't mean you have championship DNA. Not having one doesn't mean you don't have it. Like,
That's right.
It's
The
something
thing about
innate
that,
within
though,
you. You do the winning things. Some people get the championship because of that. Some people just don't have one. I don't think that doesn't.
No, I think too. Also, like what Jordan was saying too, and we was all kind of talking about it yesterday. There's so much more. Like, winning the championship is so hard that you just have to do. You got to do the right thing, like on and off the court, like in the locker room, before the game, after the game. You know what I'm saying? Staying healthy is, a lot of people don't stay healthy because they don't stretch. Some people don't understand, like, after this game, you shouldn't just walk out the locker room and go home. You should you should stretch, ice your knees, you know what I'm saying? Do recovery stuff. People don't take that type of stuff serious. That's championship DNA, but that takes a championship organization. You know what I'm saying? All organizations aren't built the same, just like all hoopers ain't built the same. You know what I'm saying? I think so. I think that championship DNA conversation was a really good conversation yesterday. I just wish we could have been able to break it down a little more and really talk about what I'm trying
to figure out is what exactly. I'm confused. What I didn't clarify, because when you sacrifice, you've been on different teams, and you recognize when you get on this team here in particular, okay, we got something different going on here. And what I was doing over there, if I want to win, I can't do that here. That's embedded in me. That's not something that I developed just because I got on this crew. No, that's something that's already in me. It's very much like getting with a chick. Ox, you've been with girls. When you met this girl, it was like, you know what? The shit I was doing in the past with these other girls, I can't do this with her. If I want to hold on to her, I gotta switch up my shit. That's embedded in you. What's the same logic when you jump on a championship crew? You recognize, okay, they doing something special over here. So the things that I was doing, showing up to practice 10 minutes before practice started. Well, now I got to show up a half an hour before practice starts. I got to show up 45 minutes before practice starts. That's not difficult for me because I'm involved in something special. I'm involved in something that's going to be a big deal, as opposed to, I'm just here to get a paycheck and I'm just here to go home, because these dudes don't care. These dudes aren't really trying to win. I get on the crew and I understand what the professionalism is here. I understand what the motto is here. I understand what the winning is here. And I understand what it takes to win here. And now I'm around that. And I have some of that in me, but I didn't really get an opportunity to see it until I'm here now. And now, because I'm on the crew and I see it, I'm bought into that. That's where the sacrifice comes in, because I can't keep doing what I was doing, because if I keep doing that, I'm going to be out of here.
Yeah, I feel you on that, y'all. I was with you on that all the way. I think it just takes a little more than just sacrifice too. It takes a little more than just hard work too. It takes a little more than just being willing to learn. You know what I'm saying? I think all of that together. You know what I mean? I think that all matters for sure.
Well, to your point, Ox, you this Oklahoma City team. We got 9 guys. Every day I walk in here, I'm fighting for my life. Right. I could go from being the 4th guy to I'm out the rotation. So I gotta one, I gotta be bought into what we're doing. 2, I gotta have my ass here every day. There are no days off for me. I gotta make sure that I'm here every day. That's part of winning, consistency, right? Because if I don't do that, I'll show up when I feel like it. That goes back to what I was talking about when being on different crews. Like, they don't really hold you accountable. They don't really care if you show up like when you want to, stuff like that. I think that's completely different when you want a different crew.
Yeah, when you look at what's is Sam Presti this GM, right?
Yes.
Sam Presti, right? Yeah. I want to make sure I get his name right. Put some respect on that name. You know what I'm saying? Because it looks like he makes trades and drafts players more based on game. You got to be a hooper, but a lot of it has to do with personality. I think he's drafted on personality. He's signing free agents on personality, bringing guys over on personality, not name and can you put the ball in the basket? Sure. Like, can you come get down over here? You can't. Everybody can't do it. I think it's too much pressure for some people. Some people just aren't really about camaraderie. Some people just want to just, like you said, come sign their check and go on. They got some dudes over there that got one goal in mind.
Mm-hmm. How old do you think he was when he took his first general manager job in the NBA? I think you're going to be surprised.
I think he was in his 30s, maybe. Mm-hmm. He was under 30.
Mm-hmm. He was 29. He was 29 years old.
Wow.
For your Seattle Supersonics, Ron.
Right.
You should be the biggest OKC fan up here.
Don't bring up Sam Presti and the Sonics right now. What's wrong with you?
We get it, Ron. We 100% get it. I understand that. I just
I'd be insensitive sometimes.
Again, Ox, when you on a team like what's going on in Oklahoma City now, and to Penn's point, getting guys dropped in his lap, we have to accept how we have to accept how good Sam Presti is. Like, when I get Aaron Wiggins at the 55th pick, nobody's particularly interested in him. When I get Lou Dort, who's undrafted, nobody's interested in him. I am, though. When I get Isaiah Joe, nobody's interested in him like that. I am, right? So these guys that he's taken, and to Ox's point, in terms of personality, they get woven into the group. But I'm also taking these guys, and the talent that they have is going to be honed into what we're doing. And these guys, it takes a lot to turn Lou Dort into a baller. It takes a lot to turn Aaron Wiggins into a baller. And to get him on the cheap, $48 million for 3 years, to get him on the cheap, guys like that, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of homework in what Oklahoma City is doing. Because, again, this ain't Miami. This ain't New York. Oklahoma City ain't exactly the most enticing place to sell to a guy. It ain't.
No lie.
This ain't Los Angeles, right? If I'm getting you over here, I got to get you over here, and I got to sell it, right? And I got to turn you into a baller. So, I got to give Sam Presti a lot of credit for hitting on everything that he did.
Yeah, except for the fact that it's all about to be over.
That's why.
Well, yeah, because Kawhi and James Harden finna spank their ass.
That's what you.
Oh, here we go, man. They got to get past the Nuggets first.
James Harden.
They got to get past the Nuggets first.
Come on, Alex. No doubt.
That's why I think keeping your second round picks, a lot of those are really important, man. Like, some teams are just willing to give away second round picks. Like, if you can get a player that can contribute by his second season and then have him on your books for the next 3 seasons for $2 million, that's really valuable. So teams holding on to second round picks, that shows a level of just knowing what to do and knowing what to do with your players and having the confidence that we can progress and develop these players into what we need for our team. So having second round picks are extremely important because you never know who's the next Aaron Wiggins or who's the next Lou Dort or even Austin Reeves going undrafted. You never know who's going to be the next guy that contributes to your team the way that these guys have, and just giving those second round picks away doesn't even give you the option to really find out.
I think, to be honest with you, John D, I think that's the mark of a great GM. It ain't hard to find Jason Tatum. It ain't hard to find Paolo. It ain't hard to find Chet Holmgren and Evan Mobley. It ain't hard to find them dudes. It's hard to find Aaron Wiggins. It's hard to find Lou Dort. It's hard to find Alex Caruso. Them dudes ain't easy to find, yo. Those guys are not easy to find. And when you find them and be able to get those guys on your crew and woven into the crew, that's a big deal. Big deal.
All right, fellas, before we move on, I do want to shout out one person from the Grizzlies last night because we gave him a lot of flack after that game 1 performance. But game 2, Triple J bounced back. He had 26 points, 6 rebounds. It's more than what he averages. And he went 10 for 17 from the field. So shout out to Triple J. He did show up and hoop last night. But moving along, you guys make sure you turn on your notification bells. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video and become a member like our Hall of Famers. Like Fleece Johnson. He just became a member. Be like Fleece. All right, y'all. Payton Pritchard got 6th man of the year. What are our thoughts on this?
Not surprising. I thought he was going to win 6th man of the year anyway. I mean, I thought he was the best rotation player this season. I thought he was a great rotation player last year. I think the amount of pressure he put on defenses as a long ball shooter, as an offensive rebounder, as a dirty work guy, not just as a shooter, but also as a lead guard and coming in and keeping. That's your job, by the way, as a backup lead guard. Your job is to keep the ship steady. You're not supposed to sink the ship. And I think all around everything that he did for that Boston Celtic team, because a lot of people will say that you get on a team that's that good, your job isn't that hard. Yeah, actually it is. It's not as easy as you think it is. And for him to come in and do what he did for that Boston Celtic team, yeah, I think he's the best rotation player in the game.
Anybody else on Payton Pritchard?
I mean, he was my pick. I think he was most of our pick.
Yeah, he was my pick
except for John D. I'm sorry, not John D. John D. No.
Yeah, I picked DeAndre Hunter.
You picked DeAndre Hunter, and Jordan picked Malik Beasley. Mm-hmm. But apart from that, everyone picked Payton. I think he's been great.
Well, I don't know. I didn't pick. So
you didn't pick?
Did you actually know? Or did they just not put you on the graphic?
Apparently not. You know what I'm saying? You as PC's IG team. I
was gonna say they just ain't put you on the graphic, or you actually didn't. They were just saying
that. Yeah, Big Ox, you wasn't on there.
Was DeAndre Hunter? But because I know that DeAndre Hunter was a rotation guy in Atlanta, and then he came to Cleveland. He started, and then he moved to the rotation. Or am I wrong on that?
He started maybe 4 games,
a couple games,
and then Ty Jerome. I mean, Ty Jerome didn't start. Ty Jerome was like the 7th.
That was close.
Ty Jerome was like the 7th or 8th guy to start the season. He wasn't. He worked his way up into the second guy off the bench. I mean, the first guy off the bench. He was not the guy who was the first guy off the bench to start the season. That didn't happen.
I think Payton Pritchard is fine winning it by most measures of what the 6th man of the year is. I think if you ask me who the best player coming off the bench was, it was probably Ty Jerome or Naz Reid. And I don't know why Naz Reid didn't even have a horse in this race. But I think Payton Pritchard was a fine pick. And that's why he was my pick, because I thought he was going to win. Yeah, he's been great off the bench. He's been great.
Would Naz Reid, and I'm just throwing something against the wall, Mars, would Naz Reid not be in this race because he won it last year and it was almost by default because we all thought Malik Monk was going to win it. He ended up getting hurt. So this season, do you think that they held that against him, or was it just his game?
It's possible. Maybe no one was just checking for Naz Reid. I don't know. I don't know what goes into these voters' minds, but Naz Reid to me this year was better than he was last year. And he still came off the bench.
He is one of the best rotation players in the game. 100%. I won't argue that. Yes, definitely.
I think part of it could be because Payton Pritchard, he got a little more spotlight and shine this year. Remember, you seen Drew, and even in those games, he might have started. I don't know the exact games because I know sometimes he started a few games. But remember, Derek White was down, Jaylen Brown was down, Drew Holiday been in and out the lineup, Jason Tatum done missed some time. Anytime some of those guys miss minutes or miss games, Payton Pritchard's minutes are skyrocketing, and in those games, he was getting busy. So I think a lot of it has to do with that. Didn't he have a 35-point game or something like that?
40. Him and Derek White.
And it was on ESPN, right?
Him and Dirk went with for 40.
You can't count certain things like that. You know,
take the over on him.
Last time a Celtic won the sixth man of the year, the Celtics won the NBA championship.
Kevin McHale.
No, it was Bill Walton in '86.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's go on.
Yeah. Shout out to Pritchard though, man. He's really good, shooting 40% from three on almost 8 attempts.
Averaging a robust Smalls 8.5 points a game coming off the bench, the great Bill Walton.
Hey man, that playmaking was valuable. Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
All right, fellas. Well, before we get to the last game, you guys do know, speaking of 6 men of the year, that Clutch Player of the Year is going to drop today, right?
You tell us, Ron. Is it dropping today? Yes or no?
It's dropping today. And I'm about to show all of you guys' picks. But Capers, we don't know who you got for Clutch Player of the Year.
Whew. Steph?
No.
I don't know. I don't have a vote in the Clutch Player. I'll go Steph.
See, it's a dumb award. See, that's what he's saying. It's a dumb award.
I agree. But I mean,
well, these are our picks. Starting with the great Chilltown Hoops. Chilltown has Jalen Brunson as his Clutch Player of the Year.
Yes, sir.
Jordan has Nikola Jokic. Mars has Jalen Brunson.
Nice.
Big Ox. Oh, you made this one. Salute to you. Big Ox has LeBron James.
Nice.
John D has Jalen Brunson.
Facts, man. Facts.
Penn has Nikola Jokic. Ron has Trae Young.
No surprise there.
Swiper, no surprise here either, has Nikola Jokic. And Player's Choice as a whole, as a collective, has Jalen Brunson.
How you get there? Count that up again. Didn't we get 4 Jokic votes?
And we got to make a
one from Penn, one from Jordan, one from Swiper. Who was the other one?
Oh, it was only 3?
Who was the other one? Maybe I forgot one. It was you, Jordan, and Swiper, right? Because Chill had Brunson, I had Brunson, John D had Brunson. Then Ron had Trae Young, Ox had LeBron. Is there anyone else I'm forgetting? That sounds like 3-3, but I might be forgetting someone.
Okay, so
we got it.
So
we got to make
3.
I don't know. I might be forgetting names. I'm just
no. It's 3-3, and if it's 3-3, then the people who voted elsewhere get to put in a vote. And Chill, I asked you who's the Clutch Player of the Year, right? Or
you did. You did.
Hold on, wait. Oh, so that was between me and Ox.
Oh, so you had to pick between Brunson and Jokic.
And who did you pick, Ox?
I was forced to make a choice against my will because I felt that being that this is America, I shouldn't be forced to pick between 2 guys that I don't believe deserve the award. But once again, dictator Ron made me choose, and I picked Jalen Brunson.
Okay, got you. That's how we got there.
And I got my fault. It wasn't Bill Walton. Malcolm Brogdon won the 6 man of the year in 23 when they lost in the East Finals to the Heat. I forgot about him.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, my fault.
It counts.
For the agenda, it doesn't count.
My fault.
Speaking of pushing agendas, hang tight one sec. We can agree that 13 years is a pretty big sample size, right?
More than a decade.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what we're talking about. Yeah, it depends.
Okay. What if I told you one team had won 475 games over a stretch of 13 years, and the other team had won 579 games? The team that won 475 games has been to the playoffs 5 times and has only been out of the first round twice. The team that's won 579 games has been to the playoffs 8 times and has been out of the first round 5 times. You would probably say that second team over that 13 years was way better, right?
Yeah, it depends on maybe if that team won a championship. I don't know.
Let me guess who that team is, but I kind of got an idea who this is. But go ahead.
I think you'll definitely guess the 579 wins over the 13 years. That would be the Toronto Raptors.
Of course, absolutely.
any guesses on who 475 wins is?
The Warriors.
Nope.
No.
Hell no. No, the Warriors have been very successful.
Last 13 years, when's that? 2012?
Yep. 2012 to 20.
And they got second round twice. First round twice.
Mm-hmm. Both teams have one championship.
It's the No.
One championship in the last 12 years. It might be
John D.
It might be the Lakers.
Stay with me. Deep breath.
They
Deep
sucked
breath.
for a minute.
Deep breath.
This is the Lakers.
No, it's fine. It's the Lakers.
It is the Lakers.
But I'm gonna hang my hat on having Luka Doncic for the next 10 years while you keep pushing Scotty Barnes. So it's fine. Scotty. So once again, and I like Scotty. Scotty's a great player.
Gonna be on his
once
way
again,
up.
we have Luka Doncic. So once again, breathe with me. Because the conversation was over a half hour ago, and now you're bringing it back when we're not talking about the entire history of basketball. The Lakers have been the better franchise.
They've existed longer.
So let's talk about the 13 years. You can have the 13 years. You can have the year of Kawhi Leonard. I'm about to have Luka Doncic, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq. I'm fine, bro. You can have the 13 years.
I could just see John D.
Like
I'm just saying for a franchise that has every advantage in the world, for a franchise that is in the second biggest market in America, to be outperformed over a massive 13-year stretch in which you have had so many Hall of Famers.
Let's talk about the last 50 years. Let's talk about the entire history of basketball. The Lakers have been the better franchise.
People who ran this organization 30 years ago ain't alive anymore.
It doesn't matter. You're bringing back 13 years. Who cares?
13 years is a really long sample size unless it applies to you.
When did Gene West take over the Lakers?
In 18, I think it was.
Okay, so you just used the last 6 years then, I guess, if you're talking about the ownership. 7 years, whatever.
All right, y'all. I'm running a poll right now. I'm asking who has the better franchise. The Lakers.
I'll run the poll on Twitter too.
Thank you, Mars. We need reinforcements. We need reinforcements.
I mean, Penn. As much as I hated Penn, the Lakers are the best organization in basketball.
Penn, let me ask you this question.
They're the best franchise in basketball, right?
Penn, these Lakers, right, and like the Lakers and the Raptors. The worst that the Lakers have been over these last 13 years, have they been better than the worst that the Raptors have been?
No, because the Raptors have had their draft picks. The Raptors have never mortgaged their entire future on one player. They've drafted well. They've developed well. They lost their minds for a couple of years, and then they tanked the last 2 years. But I mean,
and in those days, were they worse than the 22 win Lakers when they had Bryant his last year? Were they worse than them?
Absolutely, they were not worse than them, because again, you're losing. Like, I would personally rather lose with a young team and keep all my draft assets and actually develop, as opposed to lose with a whole bunch of terribly signed role players on aging contracts. Like, are we forgetting some of the players that the Lakers have signed over the last?
Oh no, like Roy Hibbert, Timothy Mozgov, Luol Deng. That's
fantastic. I mean, shout outs to Luol Deng, great guy. But like, come on, this has been one of the most consistently poorly managed franchises over the last 13 years. The fact that Luka has what?
I mean, we've still been better than the Raptors. Like
over that 13-year stretch, you have objectively not been better than the Raptors.
Why 13 years? Why is 13 the arbitrary?
Because
there's an agenda that's
where Penn has an advantage, Mars. Like, we got to know what he's doing.
That's the Masai Ujiri era. What the hell you want me to do? Go back to the Glenn Grunwald era?
So then why would you not do the Jeannie Buss era?
Once again,
we're just going 13 years to 13 years, because I don't think y'all are gonna give me the 6 years as a sample size. And honestly, the Raptors haven't been that great over the last 6 years. Let's be real. They won a championship, but still, I'm just saying there was a stretch of time for a decade where the Raptors were the second winningest team in basketball behind the Warriors. And I feel like just because they won one championship, they don't get due credit for it. I feel like the OKC Thunder and the Memphis Grizzlies are in a similar boat, where it's like you're not seen a lot. You're not on TV a lot, so people just act like you don't exist and what you're doing doesn't matter. And I feel like the Lakers are always on TV, and we're always talking about them. You want to talk about the Lakers boost? Every single role player who ever does anything good for the Lakers gets boosted to hell. But you do that in Memphis, and you don't get nothing.
That championship team,
That
championship team in 2020 with the Lakers, are they better than that 2019 championship team with the Raptors?
Yeah, we've had this debate many times. I take the Raptors every time.
I'll run that poll on Twitter too. Bear with me.
I'll run that poll in the chat.
Your followers are Gen Z, Mars.
It's not just my followers who vote. It's just people.
No, this what I'm thinking about, Penn. I'm thinking about a Kawhi Leonard who was low managed that year, but he was fantastic. He was in the conversation as best player in the world. But I'm also I'm also thinking about what you put the pieces around him with, right? You put Ibaka around him. You traded for Gasol, who I'm on record saying if you'd had Valanciunas, I still think you would have won it, but that's just me. No. You end up getting great guard play, right? You end up getting great guard play from Fred VanVleet as a rotation guy. You end up getting Kyle Lowry, who, for all intents and purposes, wasn't a great shooter, and he could falter sometimes on offense as a great as a shooter and throw a monkey wrench in what you were doing. But he was one of the best floor leaders in the NBA, and I think that's definitely a plus to him. But if I'm going quote unquote band for band, and I got James at the lead guard spot, and I got Alex Caruso. Not only do I have Alex Caruso, I got Anthony Davis as our anchor on defense. I got Dwight Howard as a rotation guy, who at that time I think I can make the argument he was better than Ibaka. And that double big lineup that you had with both Gasol and Ibaka, both McGee and Dwight Howard as rotation guys were just as good, if not better. And then now that leads you now into
so much better.
I do just want to say though, like, we are almost in May. Why are we talking about the Raptors franchise? Like, why? Like,
yeah. Pin, we are moving on quick, but the poll is being ran though.
They're competing in the poll, by the way. They've got 41% of the votes against the Lakers. 2020 Lakers.
Not in this chat. They got 70%. They got 30% of the vote. 31.
Yeah,
30.
They're getting fried in the franchise poll, but the 19 Raptors versus the 20 Lakers is relatively close so far.
But all right,
like, and it's not even like I'm a Raptors hater. Like, I like the Raptors. I like them. You know, I like Scotty Barnes.
Chill. One thing very important. You say Kyle Lowry not a good shooter, not a shooter. Like, I feel like when you say that, it's a little disingenuous. Over any 6 to 7 year sample that you want to use of Kyle, whether you want to use the last 6 years or whether you want to use the 7 years of We the North, he's a 37% 3-point shooter on good volume. He's not Rajon Rondo. Like, he's a good shooter. He's inconsistent, streaky sometimes, but man, he's not a bad shooter. He's had seasons of 40% 3-point shooting. Like
100%. He also shot the worst of any league guard in NBA history in the playoffs in 16. No guard has ever done that.
We about to move on because, well, I'm an L host for a couple of reasons.
Trash.
But I'm a dub host too for a reason. Now, I'm an L host because, well, I let the Raptors get talked about in April, and I'm sorry, you guys. Please find it in your heart to forgive me. I'm also an L host because I told you guys that we'll be watching this game tonight, when in fact we won't be watching anything tonight. But tomorrow, Chilltown and Ox will be watching the Nuggets and the Clippers.
Yes, we will.
So catch up with us on Playback tomorrow night, and then on Friday we got 2 good ball games, y'all. We'll be there for the Magic and the Celtics. And then we'll stick around, Mars, for the Lakers and the Wolves. Hey, this is game 3. Role player. Remember what I told you guys is going to happen game 3. Remember, 30 and 20. So you guys be there or be square. And then on Monday, that's when we'll check out the Rockets and the Warriors on Playback. So y'all be sure to pull up. But also, another reason why I may, in fact, be an L host is because we never did the comments of the week.
We did not.
But you know the cool thing about it though is it's not comments of the day. It's comments of the week, and it's still the week. So better late than never. Let's get into it, fellas. Top 5 comments of the week. Let's see who gets recognition and who didn't make it. All right, the first comment that we got is from Online Transactions D9F. Online Transactions said Steph Curry is objectively the most overrated player in NBA history. A lot of people work overtime and do cognitive gymnastics in order to insert him in conversations that he simply doesn't belong in.
What conversation?
I think I'm a part of this.
Greatest point guard of all time, I think, is the conversation that this person is alluding to.
I think he has a strong one in that race, but I mean, I guess.
Yeah, he's very strong.
I don't think that's a conversation he shouldn't be in. No, I think that's a conversation he definitely belongs in.
I would like to, I do think I've contributed to that. Maybe Steph shouldn't be in some conversations that I've put him in, but I 100% believe the conversation I put him in. I'll stand on that. I'm not going to talk about it now. I don't want to bring up a 35 minute debate, but yeah, I've definitely put Steph in some conversations. You can go check out the Hoop Talk podcast if you want to find out. But
hey, John, summer coming up soon. Well, and we'll have all the time in the world.
We don't have to talk about
it. I need some off season material, so I'm going to step back. We just going.
All right.
Ben, just pump your brakes a little bit. It's almost July. And we'll be able to do whatever you want to do. No, it's not.
Summer league coming. We can evaluate these rookies. Come on, man.
We're gonna make holistic opinions on these guys' careers based on game one of the summer league.
Yeah,
I remember Wemby's game one in the summer league, man.
Good times.
He's not gonna be good in the NBA. Oh god. Oh man.
Like that was a real conversation, Mars. That was really going on.
I remember when Wemby dyed his hair. Does Wemby really like basketball? Oh my!
What are you doing,
the off season tour.
I forgot Wemby even dyed his hair.
Oh my god!
Like, my man, what are you doing?
Man.
Yo, to the 2,500 people in here, I'm assuming some of you guys are regulars. I'm assuming some of you guys watch from time to time. Maybe some of you guys only watch clips. But in case you don't know, things really heat up in the summertime here on PC. So if you like us during the season, if you like us during the playoffs, just wait till the summertime rolls around.
The all season is even better. The all season is even better. What?
Some conversations are had.
It gets nasty in here. It does.
Can't wait. But all right, y'all. The next comment of the week comes courtesy of a Herbo 18, or a Herbo 18. Either way it goes.
018.
A Herb 0 or a Herb 018. Penn is the smartest person on the panel, so I'm going to take a backseat to him. A Herb 018 said, I really have enjoyed Austin on the show, and this felt like the most natural episode so far. I found myself forgetting he was in the league because he does so well fitting in as just a regular panelist. Hopefully that does not sound like a backhanded compliment because that's not my intention. LOL.
I mean, that's the goal. We are just talking basketball. League, whether he was in the league or not. It's not an interview. It's not like, that's not what it is. I don't think that's what it's meant to be when we have Quinn Cook or Austin on the panel. It's not just an interview of their experiences. We're all just talking basketball. So, yeah.
And who better to talk basketball with than a former pro basketball player? I mean,
yeah, it just helps.
Ron, absolutely. I stand corrected. It is a Herbo 18. My bad.
Shout out to Herbo.
Stupidest person on the panel. My bad.
You said it, not me.
Dre J912 said, played against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, played against Kobe Bryant, made guest appearances on ESPN and House of Highlights. Also, just so happens to be the cousin of Shaquille O'Neal. Chill is legitimately the most interesting man in the world. Much love from Savannah, Georgia.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Talking about the most random event from NBA history, and Chill just happened to be in the crowd that day. I'll never forget. We was on, was it Lowe's stream where we was doing NBA trivia? Me and Chill were on the same team. Obviously, we brought the dub home for PC, and it was like, which player had the most blocks in a game or something? And the answer was Shaq. And then Chill was like, I was at that game, and it was just some random game against the Nets from 1992. Like,
yeah, the question was, Ron, how many who has the most blocks in a game? And that was Shaq at 15. I was like, I was at that game. It was against the Nets, and he had 15 blocks in that game. Yeah, I remember that. It was his rookie season. And Moss was like, wait a minute, what?
Well, you got the point. So,
1992 was a real year? Yeah.
And of course, Damo, he wants to shut the stream down because he's like, yo, number one, I got the encyclopedia in Mars, and I got the other dude. I'm going against the encyclopedia in Mars, and I'm going against the other dude who was there. This isn't fair. This isn't fair at all.
We fried them, to be fair. If you haven't watched that.
By the way,
I watched that.
We fried them. But,
okay, who fried who worse? You fried those guys worse, or did Chill fry Gen Z worse on his episode?
Chill got cooked in that debate, man. I watched that. I was watching that. I was like, yeah, he talking about John Stockton better than Kyrie. That guy was cooking Chill. And then I watched the other, and then I watched them talking about how Steph Curry, the greatest point guard ever. That guy was cooking Chill.
I watched.
Then the only one he won was the Tim Duncan one. and that's because they kept trying to make bad cases for Giannis.
No, man, it was all bad faith arguments. I watched that entire debate, and I said we are screwed as a civilization. We are done.
I seen one person make the argument that LeBron's the best power forward ever. Shout out to them. Then I seen someone say Magic Johnson is Ben Simmons. Kyrie is better than John Stockton at everything. That was cool. What else did I see? Yeah. I saw some interesting takes on that video. Very, very entertaining. Very, very entertaining.
That's what I'm here for, Mars. I'm here to entertain you, brother. That's why I'm here.
Oh, thank you. You do a good job.
All right. The next comment that we have is simple, quick, and straightforward. It is from Real Talk. And he said, dub episode.
Oh, Real Loser? Yes, sir.
Shout out to Real Talk. And shout out to episode 539. And that may or may not be the right episode. But go watch episode 539 because I'm assuming it really was a dub episode. Like it and let us know how you feel about it. The last comment of the week is from Marley Cold Burr. Marley Cold Burr said, congrats to Mars on being the back-to-back PCL champ. Unfortunately, for whoever wins the bubble belt next year, you won't get the credit you deserve because the real champ retired.
No, you'll have that championship DNA once you win it. So
hey man, Hakeem still gets credit. That's
100% he does.
Hakeem gets a lot of credit.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, whoever wins, you'll be fine.
Tim Duncan
and
gets
you'll win
credit.
from my judging. So
Tim Duncan gets credit. 100% he does. Yes, that does happen.
But yeah.
Oh no, man. It really actually might be a bubble belt, but we'll just have to see. It just depends on how well they perform, you know. Maybe they got to go back to back.
By the way, but we'll get it at some point, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. There also is some super chats. Guys, I know we have one more playoff game to get to. I'm stalling as long as I can, but we'll get there. I promise you we will. I have a super chat from MP13. He said the issue is the Lakers have good foundational fans, but then they attract so many people who grew up drinking paint as children.
I love this.
That it just makes the entire franchise so annoying. Plus, LA is just a weird
dystopian
state. What's a dystopian state?
Ends of
LA.
world.
Huh. Yeah, I was just taking paint shots at 4 years old, man. I was yo.
What color?
Need that. You know,
I mean, he went with strawberry flavor. No, he went with strawberry flavor for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think most fans are gonna be biased towards their team. It's not anything new. Like I'll be reading the chat, like when their team loses, all of a sudden it's not a big deal, and then when their team wins, it means they're gonna win a championship. Like,
name a fan base that's objective. Name them.
Yeah, like every fan every fan base is gonna be on the whole biased towards their team.
There's degrees.
No, don't do this.
I'm not going to talk about the Raptors.
There's definitely degrees. Like Warriors fans are unbearable. Lakers fans are unbearable. Knicks fans are unbearable. Yes. Like that, and then there are fans who are less unbearable. But at the end of the day, they're always going to be biased. And like even the fans who are trying not to be biased, they end up being biased in the opposite way. Like
what's the most bearable fan base? I would like to get to the bottom of this.
Before we go any further, Almighty said Cavs fans, we cool. Almighty, I just had a conversation with somebody this morning that said y'all sweeping everybody in the playoffs. He said that. He said y'all sweeping everybody in the playoffs, not just in the Eastern Conference, in the finals too. He said y'all not going to lose a game in the playoffs. So please don't tell me that Cavs fans are also objective.
I've never had a bad experience with a Trailblazers fan, but I've only spoke to 2.
That's because it's a basketball city. That's why.
So
Trailblazers fans might actually be it.
Yeah, like
PSG Piccolo, he don't really say anything too wild. He actually just wants his team to be better.
That's it.
Yeah, like that's really it. But I still think fans are still biased, and then you have the opposite where the fan is trying so hard to not be biased. They end up being overly critical of their team, which means they end up just being biased in the opposite direction. Like they just don't seem to acknowledge the good things their team do because they try not to be
fans biased. Annoying. I've never found Spurs fans to be particularly annoying. Even when they got Wemby, they didn't get nauseatingly annoying.
No.
They better than me.
So
Antonio. Well, hold on though. Especially for how good the Spurs were too over the last. Y'all talked about 13 years.
Oh my god, they could talk so much shit.
They really could, but they don't.
They better than me.
I'll probably go with the Spurs fans.
I feel like people get offended on behalf of Spurs fans. Like the Spurs fans don't really be doing anything. But if you say something against the Spurs, non-Spurs fans will come to the defense of them. So like, I don't know. So that's not Spurs fans, it's just people. People seem to defend the Spurs. So
all right, y'all. Worth Living said you could have more fouls at the end and the refs could still be playing a side. For example, I foul you 50 times, they call 30. You foul me 32 times and they call 32.
And it also depends on where you call those fouls at. If we get a foul called in the last 5 minutes of the game that shifts the tide, where now we in the bonus, or now that's his fifth foul or his sixth foul. It's stuff like that can turn the game on its ear, as opposed to like you getting fouls early and they ticky-tack fouls. I mean, it depends on where the fouls are called too.
I feel like the fouls that also coincide with a disruption to a run, right? Like when you call a foul and that team is struggling and you bail them out with one and it's a ticky-tack one and it shouldn't have been called, I feel like that can sort of break the momentum of the other team, because it's like, again, basketball, personally, I would like it to not be decided by the refs. A lot of teams, they go into what I call like 10 successive possessions of positive results. So they score or get to the line 3-4 times and they get 3-4 stops. Now momentum is permanently on their side. Now, at that point, if you call a foul and put them at the line and they didn't deserve to be at the line, you just broke momentum. That's where I feel like refs have a little bit too much control. And personally, the less control a ref has over the outcome of a game, the better.
And the refs get themselves in trouble, like I've said in the past, by involving themselves in the game and not letting the players involve them in the game. That's not my job. You're going to involve me in the game. I'm not going to involve myself in the game. That's how I get myself in trouble.
Calvin Bruton said, the dude with the OKC jersey is the last person to be talking about calls. SGA gets the whistle blown all the time. I bet him and every OKC fan says nothing. Stop it, dude.
Calvin, just so you know, he gets the least amount of free throws of anybody that averaged 30 a game, 32 a game. Nobody has gotten less free throws than him. So stop it, man. Knock it off. And he leads the league in scoring without going to the stripe. So stop it on SGA with this foul stuff. All great scorers get to the stripe. All of them do. Not some of them or most of them. All scorers get to the stripe. All of them.
I feel like people just needed to find something to hate.
Damn.
I feel like that's really what it was.
You're not great if you don't have haters. That's how I feel.
And
Kobe has
doesn't even
tons of haters, man. Kobe had a lot of haters. LeBron has a lot of haters. So SGA for me, it's like, yo, all that hate, welcome to the club.
All right, y'all. I want to shout out to our Hall of Famers right quick. My man Minor, Cheese, Vale, Tyrus Williams, and Multi Kenny. Salute to the Hall of Famers. Salute to the GOATs. If you're not a member yet, be a member like G. Become a member like slightly biased Kobe Bryant fan. Become
only slightly biased. Only slightly biased.
Like sort of kind. I'm not completely. I'm just slightly.
Become a member like Anthony, Xbox Likes Me, Clayton. And become a member like Park Effect. Shout out to them. Thanks for joining up. Isaiah Evans said, didn't the Wolves shoot more free throws?
Yeah, 5 more. I just think when the Wolves have to challenge back-to-back plays because they've tried to give Julius Randle a foul on 2 straight possessions that weren't fouls, that like leads to Penn's point about momentum. Like they missed the foul call on the offensive ends where they called it an offensive foul, so they had to challenge it and use one of their challenges. They win the call, obviously, because it wasn't an offensive foul. And then the very next play, they call a foul on him again on a block on Austin Reeves. That also wasn't a foul. And then they had to reverse it, meaning the Wolves no longer have a challenge for the rest of the game because they've had to use back-to-back challenges on clear missed calls on Julius Randle. That's like, it only counts as 2 fouls and they ended up reversing it, but that affects the game. I just think it was badly officiated on both sides. Like, that's where I stand.
What is that call when I shoot the ball and I'm in the lane and my arm comes down?
I don't know how that. Like, I'm fine with it being an offensive foul. I don't get how the bucket didn't count.
No, because it after the play. 100%. That bucket should have counted.
That's what I'm fine calling the offensive foul because like he threw up the floater and then his follow through went down into LeBron. Offensive foul, cool. But I don't get how the 2 points don't count. But I don't know. Maybe there's something about I don't read the rule book, so maybe there's something I'm missing. It's just bad officiating all around, in my opinion.
All right. Context Clue sent through a members chat and said, "Chill. Can you tell the guys what Trista said about about what the players in the league said about Giannis and Dame duo?"
He's Trista.
In the words of Mars, you could go check out Chill with Chill. We had Trista Crick on Chill with Chill last night, and she was discussing the word on the street is Giannis and Dame. This thing isn't cohesive, and these guys don't really like playing with each other. That's the word on the street from NBA players, that these two guys, the coexistence between the two of them is not really that good, and these guys don't really like playing with each other. I don't know how true that is, but I'm taking her word for it. I think and I said to her last night, I said one of the biggest problems that you have when you got a big and a small is if that big doesn't screen, you can't really run a lot of pick and pop. That's why I worked with both Russ and Joker, because Joker screens. So he gets not only does he get the guard open, he gets himself open when he switches, because now you're anticipating that screen. Giannis doesn't really screen that well. So because Giannis doesn't screen that well, that pick and pop, that pick and dive game between both him and Giannis doesn't work as well as it should.
The pick and roll works with Middleton, though. So what's the difference between Dame and Middleton? Because their pick and roll stuff was fine when it was Middleton running it. They had good chemistry, good synergy. But when Dame runs it, they don't. And I agree that they don't have synergy with Dame and Giannis. I guess I'm asking why. What do you think the difference is?
I think the difference, one, he had Middleton for 8 years, so they developed that relationship. Dame has been in Portland for as long as he's been in Portland, had the ball in his hands, been more of a scorer. Him playing pick and roll, he's never really had to play pick and pop, pick and dive with a player like Giannis, because Giannis is used to having the ball in his hands. And I feel like Giannis gets rushed a lot when it comes to Dame. Instead of screening and waiting for the ball, he's so looking for the ball quickly, because Dame is such a scorer and a shooter. I think it was designed between both Middleton and Giannis when they were playing together for him to be looking for Giannis more than him being a scorer, as opposed to Dame being more of a scorer. And I think him looking for Giannis is secondary. I think that's why he was brought there.
Cho, would you consider putting Giannis at center?
He's their best rebounder. He's
done that a long time ago.
I would have done that 3 years ago.
He's their best rebounder. He's their best interior defender. I don't hate it. Nope, I don't hate it at all.
I think that Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, pick and pop is exploiting the shit out of Brook Lopez.
Oh, you can't say that too loud. You can't say that too loud. Ron will get mad.
Whisper.
Ron will get mad. Say it's exploiting something else. Don't say Brook Lopez. Just say it's exploiting the drop coverage or something. You can't say Brook Lopez.
Well, Penn, the Milwaukee Bucks.
I love Brook. Just so we're clear, Brook, sure. Robin, those are my guys. Like, I love Brook, but he's old and he's slow, and there's a lot of real estate to cover with two shooters in a pick and pop, and when one of them consistently always makes the right decision, and Tyrese Halliburton pretty much never makes the wrong decision. So, yeah.
To your point, Penn, they did a disservice to him by not getting him a backup 5-man. They didn't, and this should have happened years ago. They should have upgraded at the 5 spot. This isn't something.
I think the stubbornness to start him. I mean, you're not playing him very many minutes. You're getting destroyed in the minutes he is playing. You are clearly better with Bobby Portis on the court. I think you need more athleticism generally. Yeah. Now, obviously, we can talk about the overall roster construction of the Milwaukee Bucks because it's trash. I agree. But you're probably a better team with Gary Trent Jr. on the court right now than Brook Lopez. I'm just being real. I don't even rate Gary like that. I'm just saying, like, for the spacing perspective, you probably just need a little bit more shooting and this Giannis 5, like clear out and let Giannis play his game, because I don't even think he's the best player in this series. I think he's the best player in the series going away like by a mile, right? It's such a gap between him and Halliburton or Pascal that to not get him more shot attempts, to not allow him. Now, granted, he's had his own decision-making problems. Many times he's going into help, but he's going into help for a reason, because they're playing off of shooters. They're, there's just a lot of congestion. I think if Bobby Portis is going to play this well, I would rather start Giannis at center. Just explain it to Brook. We're going to match your minutes with, not Miles Turner. Miles Turner goes out. Brooke, you can come in. You know, but they might not win a game in this series if they keep playing like this. I mean, I know Doc Rivers said, I feel very confident. It's like, I know you don't. I know you don't.
No, you don't.
You're saying this. You do not feel confident. You hoping that your team hears that, and then maybe they feel a little bit more confident. But
No,
yeah,
you don't.
and I will say this. I was very against the Kyle Kuzma trade when it happened. I still prefer Chris Middleton. Watching this series is reconfirming that for me big time.
Quick thing, because I know the talking point about this series is going to be how the roster construction around the Bucks is bad, but I do want to give some recognition to the Pacers because they are a really, really, really good team. Andrew Nembhard has been phenomenal. He is a fantastic on-ball defender. He gets wherever he wants inside the arc, and he's a 49%. He's a 49% mid-range shooter. Andrew Nembhard is phenomenal.
You brought up the defense.
Yes, 100%.
Does he shoot like 69%
you brought up the
shooting in the
defense?
playoffs? He's crazy.
Yeah,
He's a playoff riser, real playoff riser.
Like and
and
Tyrese Halliburton, who's getting whatever he wants in the half court in the first half. He's like, okay, I want Brook Lopez on me. I'm gonna get Brook Lopez.
Yeah, they actually switched Brook Lopez onto him like 3 different times.
Literally every time.
I said this to you last year, and y'all told me that I was nuts when I told y'all I don't want to see.
No, because I remember last year. I remember they did it in the in-season tournament game, like to close the game, and Halliburton was frying him. And then I was watching that matchups this year, and I didn't see it that much. It was just like bad drop coverage; they couldn't guard. But I didn't see the switching. Last night, 3 separate occasions in the first quarter, I watched Tyrese Halliburton switched onto Brook Lopez.
They specifically hunt that matchup.
Like,
Brook Lopez
don't have the personnel.
You want to get him on.
Brook Lopez is what everybody makes Rudy Gobert to be. Brook Lopez in space is what everybody makes Rudy Gobert to be.
And he's not.
Right.
And he's
like,
not.
and it's just they're hunting it like 3 straight plays. Tyrese Halliburton drive pass, footwork, layup. Drive pass, Giannis has to send help. Miles Turner wide open 3. Drive pass, Giannis has to send help. Wide open, Aaron Nesmith 3. Like it's generating great offense, and it's like the Pacers have so much guys. There's never going to be a lineup on the floor where you're not going to have shooting, decision making, or ball handling, and the Bucks just can't. Like they can't do anything with that. So it's like you look back at the Kuzma trade, and it's like you were trying to trade Chris Middleton for athleticism, defense, versatility, when you probably could have just used some more of that offense. Because Kuz is like, but that's what they traded him for. That's not me saying Kyle Kuzma is just
In
like
theory, to be honest,
in theory, they're trying to get Kyle Kuzma to improve their athleticism and improve their defense. But if you would have kept Middleton, you could have had more of that offensive firepower to at least go bar for bar with the Bucks, with the Pacers, because the Pacers every single time down the floor are going to get whatever they want, even though there's been like 2-3 minute stretches where they've just been cold offensively in the half court in all of these games. But I just think the Pacers being able to get whatever they want every single possession, and just having the Bucks having to rely on people making rotations and people communicating and people having to be quick on the perimeter and having to hide Brook Lopez or just not play him, which is what they should have done. But the Pacers are going to get whatever they want. So it's just like, it's hard for me to see this going past 5 games. Like, I think the Bucks are going to have a really good shooting night, whether it be game 3 or 4, but I think this is over in 5, and it sucks, man.
I think the Bucks are just the worst coached team. They're worst coached. They're not intelligent. They're a very dumb basketball team. I don't know how to say it, but like they're just a really dumb basketball team. I'm just gonna say that, and until it sticks. The decision making of some of these players is crazy, like truly insane. Kevin Porter Jr. I understand why he's on the court. He's talented. He has ball skills. He's one guy who can consistently beat his man off the dribble and get to the line. Why, though, do you make the decisions you make, bro? Everyone's going to focus on the highlights. Look at the lowlights. He cost them so much. Both games, he's had bonehead plays after bonehead plays. When you say championship DNA, this ain't rec league. This ain't the park. Like, you got to have some awareness of the moment. What's on the line here? It's disappointing. It's disappointing as hell, because this really is, peak Giannis. I mean, this may not be his peak, but he's still there. Like, he's good enough to be the best player on a championship team, easy. Still. And you have, in theory, probably one of the greatest number 2s in the league in Damian Lillard. And you have a coach and an organization that hasn't been able to figure this out. And I don't want to hear nothing about Giannis not screening or whatever. Can't screen? Find a screener. Swap the pieces. Make it make sense.
To your point,
Giannis
John,
should be playing center, though.
I do agree with that. To your point, John D, in theory, that's what it was to have Kuzma as an athletic wing. Dame is a transition guard. Giannis may be arguably the best transition player in NBA history. We're going to speed the game up, and we're going to get these guys more involved. Our defense is going to suffer, and we're going to hope, because I've said this countless times, hope is not a plan. But we're going to hope that this translates on the defensive end. It hasn't. And not only has it not translated on the defensive end, on the offensive end, it's been even worse because one, we lose Dame for the whole month. And now that means that Kuzma has to go back to doing stuff that he was doing in Washington. So it's kind of an up and down thing with him. He wasn't terrible yesterday. He wasn't awful yesterday. He actually gave some solid minutes. He wasn't as terrible as in the past. Kuzma, he wasn't terrible yesterday.
He wasn't 0-0-0-0-0.
Yes, he wasn't terrible yesterday, right? Yeah, no, he wasn't. He was.
I like his aggression. I like.
You see the first minute of the game?
How about the word? Can I use the word? Is stomachable a word? How about that? How about stomach? How about stomach?
I mean, it depends where the bar was.
I think the word you're looking for is palpable.
Palpable.
No.
Anything that doesn't kill the team is a positive.
Not palpable.
Stomach, like I can digest.
I get what you're saying, Chill. It was
digestible.
He wasn't that biggest problem yesterday.
No, he was not. But to John D's point, they didn't account for times like this when we get into the playoffs and the game slows down and we need half court offense and we need something that we can rely on. And we need something that we can rely on the regular, like Middleton being able to come across the screen, being able to play two-man action and get you a bucket. We need to be able to rely on that. We can't rely on that with Kuz because that's not Kuz's game.
I actually do think the way that Giannis has been utilized over the past few weeks has been phenomenal. Like I don't want the Bucks to have to go away from that because Dame is back. Like having Giannis be the point Giannis and receiving screens the second he passes half court and coming across screens in the half court to create every advantage possible to where he can get ahead of steam downhill is going to take so much for a defense to try and contain that, to where if you have a level of good 3-point shooters around them, which they do have a solid group of 3-point shooters around them, they just haven't been knocking down shots. But I think that's been the best way. I don't think you should go back to Giannis and Dame pick and roll or Dame and Brook Lopez pick and roll. I think Dame adds a level to that 3-point shot making on the perimeter, and I do think he can carry the non-Giannis minutes, but I don't think they should go away from how they've been using Giannis because I think that's been most effective. I think he should be shooting 35 shots a game this series. Like I agree.
I
agree. He shot 20 shots last night. You went 14 for 20 and finished with 34 points. Why aren't you shooting more?
Giannis needs 47.
Y'all remember I said this about Jokic too. If you were shooting so efficiently, why are you not shooting more, especially when the other players around you can't throw the ball out in whatever body of water is closest to you? So
it's diminishing returns.
I think he's averaging 35 and like 18 in this series, 35 and 17 in this series, something like that. I was expecting a masterclass from Giannis in these playoffs, and it
has been a masterclass.
I've expected that. Dame has to be better, and I think that a lot of that in game one, I think that was rust. I ain't gonna argue that. I think that was rust. I think that they expected Dame to come back and be Dame after being out for a month, and that wasn't the case. And it didn't help because him and Halliburton got into it and talking to each other. So I don't think that helped. But
Halliburton winning that right now.
Yes, 100% he is. 100% he is. And I think that we go to game 3. I think Dame can be better. I think that he can control the pace a little bit more. I think a lot of the shots that he had, and don't get me wrong, I think that Nembhard had a lot to do with making him speed himself up, right? I think Nembhard and their guard play had a lot to do with speeding up Dame and putting Dame in situations where, Dame doesn't want to be. I think Dame can slow himself down in game 3. I think he can get better looks at the basket. So I do trust him to be better and a better shooter in game 3. However, the series is predicated on Giannis. I think he's averaging 35 and like 17 in the series. It's going to take something like that in order for them to have a chance. Because they cut the lead at one point to 5.
If they keep playing like this, it's going to take more
comebacks. Like at no point when I'm watching these games do I really think the Pacers are going to lose the game.
Facts.
Like Giannis, and I'm not about to start criticizing Giannis because I think Giannis has been amazing. Giannis is, you can't really ask the guy to do much more personally.
No, you can't.
But like, it's very clearly not enough. And I'm not saying that means Giannis has to do more. No, the team is not good enough. They suck.
If you can make 3 adjustments, if you're Doc Rivers, Mars, you can make 3 adjustments going into Game 3. What would those 3 adjustments be?
Get Brook Lopez off the floor.
For who?
Probably. Do I want to go shooting?
I would say Bobby Portis.
You want to stick with that small ball?
Bobby Portis was good yesterday, but like, so I go with Dame. Dame starts. Giannis starts. He go at the 5. Then I'd probably. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think anyone else on the roster is like a for real playoff player. For real. Like, everyone has their drawbacks.
Can I give you a name? Can I give you a name? Can I just be like your? I'll be the ball boy in the corner, being like, "Hey, Mr. Doc, nope, Mr. Doc Rivers, Mr. Doc Rivers. What about Pat Connaughton? Is he a pretty decent basketball player?"
That's who we're going
Ron, we need something, Ron.
I'd resign.
What the hell are we doing, Ron?
I'm gonna be honest. I'd resign.
My best player averaging almost 40 a game, and we getting smoked.
By the way,
I'd try Andre Jackson. I'd try Andre Jackson for the defense, just so he could stay in front of someone.
We got to do something, Ron.
So I'd go Dame, Giannis. I'd try, maybe not start Andre Jackson, but I'd get Andre Jackson some minutes. The team sucks. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the roster. I don't want any of these people on my team.
And just another thing,
because any of these people on my team. Like, I'm genuine. Every player I'm thinking maybe I could insert him. Then I look at this floor. You're gonna get played off the court. I don't want any of them out.
I think the reason that I say Pat, number 1, the shooting. Number 2, I think he's just generally speaking a better decision maker than a lot of players you're playing right now. Okay, so I understand that you want to go for athleticism, you want to go for rim pressure, but honestly, there's only one rim. And with Giannis on the court, I want some space for him to attack. I think Pat Connaughton, weirdly enough, supports the idea of Giannis bully ball much more than someone like Kevin Porter Jr. or even Kyle Kuzma right now. I would try it. I would try it for a quarter and see how it goes. Personally, the thing with Doc Rivers that's always frustrated me is adjustments. So, the other thing that's frustrated me is him not knowing how to be up in a series. Well, he ain't going to be up in this series. So that's
the thing about the Pacers, and you guys have brought it up, they spread the floor, and they have 5 guys that, for the most part, they have 5 guys that can legitimately stretch the floor and put the ball on the floor and create their own shot. Miles Turner, not so much, but they run a lot of they run a yeah, but even he had a crazy step back over Giannis. But even then, when Miles Turner isn't on the floor, Pascal Siakam's at the 5. They'll do some Thomas Bryant minutes occasionally, but
Thomas Bryant's been good, by the way.
Really good.
Thomas Bryant's been good.
But for the most part, they have 5 dudes that can stretch the floor, put the ball on the floor, get to the hoop, all of this stuff. The Giannis at the 5, obviously, that is the smartest decision. Right. What I would do if I'm Doc, I would go small. I would run 4 perimeter players. So Kuzma because you guys say. Yes, Kuzma at the 4.
Mars, we got to do something, Mars. Focus, man.
Get him off the court.
We got to do something, Mars. Focus, as you were saying, Ron.
What I'm saying, though, is you guys keep bringing up Bobby Portis, and I like Bobby Portis, and he actually brought him back into the game and kept him in the game. But you guys understand, he was getting fried, too.
Yeah, he can't guard.
The same way Brook Lopez gets fried, he gets fried. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is, one thing I would propose is I will go maybe 4 guards.
Yeah,
Kevin
so
Porter
get Kuzma
Jr.
off the floor. Why not go Dame, Gary Trent, AJ Green, and I don't know, someone.
I wouldn't be mad at Taurean Prince at the 4 in that lineup. Just to play a little defense and stretch the floor.
I would
explore going 4 guards.
That was going to be the thing I would explore. Just go Dame, Gary Trent, AJ Green, and then like Taurean or something with Giannis, because like you don't have to worry about the rebounding because the Pacers don't crash the offensive glass. Like that's one thing they don't do. So, like, Giannis can still get all the rebounds. That's fine. You have more switchability on the outside, and you have just more mobility. Like, the fact of the matter is, no one on your team can stay in front of anyone anyway. Like, unless you bring Andre Jackson into the fold. No one's going to stay in front of anyone. So, you have to be able to play in rotation. At least with AJ Green and Gary Trent, in theory, they can move around the court. Now, they're still probably going to get fried. But, like, I would experiment with that, and then you have the shooting, and guys who are meant to be guards should probably be better decision makers, but they're not, and that's why they're on minimum contracts. So like, it still comes down to there's going to be flaws on the roster. But I agree with Ron. I would probably experiment something to the effect of that.
This is something I've been bringing up all season when it comes to the Bucks. It still really upsets me that they didn't draft Ryan Dunn. Like, you go and get AJ Johnson, and you go and get, I think his name's Tyler Smith or Tyron Smith. I'm forgetting already.
Tyler Smith from the G League, yeah.
Yeah, and you trade one of them, and one hasn't seen the floor for the Bucks, and it's like you could have drafted. And even Ryan Dunn's not perfect. He's not perfect, but he fits what the Bucks need. He fits what the Bucks need at
Andre
the moment.
Jackson fits what's the Bucks
You
need.
need
Andre Jackson is basically
around
Ryan Dunn.
Giannis, man. You need shooting around Giannis.
I mean, I get that.
You
but
could have
at the
had
end of the day,
Jamison Battle for free. He was undrafted.
But I get that. But it's like you've put the shooting around Giannis, but now you have no athleticism and you're getting fried.
The Bucks can shoot the ball. I think they led the league in 3-point percentage. I think.
Like over the last
it's
15
just a
games since
bad
they've been
team,
doing
though.
the Giannis, since they've implemented the Giannis point lineup, they've been like,
Yeah, they led the league in
top
3-point percentage. They can shoot the ball. Torian
Yeah.
Prince can shoot. Dame can obviously
just
shoot.
can't-
AJ Green is a
can't
sniper.
guard
Gary
the long
Trent is a
ball.
sniper. They can shoot the ball. Brook Lopez stretches the floor. They can shoot. They can't guard anything.
They can't guard at the
Anything.
long ball line.
And their
Anywhere.
offensive scheme, I think, is bad anyway. But like, they can't guard. Like, that's the problem. And that was the problem going into the series, is they can't guard the Pacers. And then it was, is Giannis just going to be 2018 LeBron and win the series? But in reality, I think everyone's seeing it now. They can't. If you can't stay in front of anyone, and you also can't play in rotation, your defense is going to get fried. The Pacers are shooting 35 threes a game. 34.5 are either open or wide open.
facts.
Like, what do you do?
There's so many players in the middle of this draft that could probably solve some problems for them, and they don't have their pick.
Ooh,
Yo,
I would
man,
love
I
a
don't-
I would love a
it's-
Rasheer Fleming in Milwaukee.
The
I would
thing
love
about
a
it
Rasheer.
is, this isn't a one player solves everything type of team. Like, you got to understand, Brook Lopez is ancient. Damian Lillard's about to be 35. Torian Prince is old. Bobby Portis is old. These are all players that are getting significant minutes. Giannis is obviously aging as well. Like, this team is,
Giannis in his
they're gonna have
prime,
to
though.
make
Well,
some
I was
serious.
thinking,
I'd blow it up, but that's beside.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
what I was just going to swing into that, but I was going to say, I want to see Giannis's last game in Milwaukee. I open up the Game Time app. It's $30 to get in the room. It's $30
But it's
to get
not.
in the building.
Ain't
It's
no way.
$30. Hold on. It's
That's
$30
it?
to get in the building.
No,
Dub Game Time app.
Now imagine you use code CLNS.
It's even less.
$30
It's
to
even
get
less
in
to
the
get in the
building.
building.
I might have to
Shout
go
out to the
check
Game
it
Time.
out. Giannis' last game in Milwaukee, I got to get a memento. You know, I got
Chicago
to
is not that far from Milwaukee. It's right up the road.
hour and a half drive. Huh?
Yeah, that's right there.
Get right there.
One more thing with Doc, though. And once again, like, we've seen the Torian Prince minutes and we've seen the Kuzma minutes. And Kuzma was good last night. So he was all right last night. So I'm not harping
He was,
on
Mars,
necessarily
stop.
last night.
He said good. He said good.
He was not good.
I'm sorry. He made it. He had a third quarter where he made some layups. I'm sorry. That doesn't mean he played good.
Cool. That
doesn't mean
the
he played
Pacers
good.
are not a
The
good
first
defensive
half he
team,
was
yo.
egregious, and the fourth quarter he wasn't good. He had a third quarter where he got some layups in transition.
Good, which is what I do.
That doesn't mean he
Yeah.
played good. Like,
Yeah.
what is
Bro,
the bar for good
yeah.
these days?
You know what I noticed this a lot because I'm getting a lot into the draft coverage that sometimes we really fall in love with the idea of somebody much more than the somebody
Who they
themselves.
actually
right?
are.
When I watch Kyle Kuzma play, I get the idea of him. He's long, he's athletic, he makes some shots, you know.
Focus,
I get
Mars.
it. You know, you think that he's supposed to be able to be a good defender. He's not. You think he's supposed to be an efficient shooter. He's not. He's shooting 30% from three this year. How the hell is that efficient? That's 6-7% below league average. Like, I just don't think he's a. What is he good at? Can someone please let me know? What is he good at?
He's good in transition. And when you use
Great.
him,
The one play type that is diminished greatly in the playoffs. What else is he good at?
he's good at quick hits. He's really good at
Chill,
quick
this
hits.
is supposed to be his series. The Pacers are the one team that I would be like, that's where you're supposed to be good
Nah,
at.
for
They
real.
don't-
Penn
they
State
don't-
right now.
They don't get back in transition. They often don't have rim protection. Pascal Siakam can't guard a corpse sometimes. Okay, sometimes he's playing well. He's playing well right now, but you know, Pascal does give up a lot at the rim. He's not a good rim protector. So, you know, this one series, I'm like, Kyle Kuzma, you can't give me 20 in this series. What are you good for?
20.
20, yes.
20, yes, Mars. 20. The guy who once
happy if
said
he gave me
basketball
20
history would not
minutes.
be complete without him. 20. Yes, that guy. Delusional confidence aside, you can't forget the 0-0-0-0. Forget all that. Can you make good decisions on the basketball court? Can you be a plus defender? Can you use like that God-given gift that you have of athleticism and coordination at 6'9" to be more of a help to Giannis? It's just disappointing, man. I'm gonna tell you that.
Pin, this
I'm
goes
not
to the point
surprised.
I'm making. So you guys just went on a whole rant about Kyle Kuzma.
Sure.
We can all acknowledge that Taurean Prince just hasn't been there.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is I just don't understand how AJ Green plays 12 minutes and Kevin Porter plays 15 minutes.
Well, Kevin Porter Jr. sucked yesterday too.
Well, here's my thing with Kevin Porter. And I understand he might turn the ball over. He might shoot errant shots or erratic shots, but
he might.
He's a better.
He looked off Giannis, yo.
Oh, but Pin, this is the point I'm making though. He is the only person other than Giannis that can consistently get in the paint whenever he wants to. Whether that is to drop a dime to somebody.
Dame too.
Dame last night he wasn't really getting to the hoop like that.
Yeah, Dame was getting stopped before.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So like he is the only person that can put pressure on the defense. So it's like, and I keep telling you guys,
what good is pressure if you make a terrible decision when you do it?
Oh,
exactly.
He doesn't make a terrible decision every time.
There.
He dropped off a couple good passes last night. He finished a couple of them. Like he's gonna like with Kevin Porter Jr. You know you're gonna get some turnovers.
Bro, he's Timu Russell Westbrook.
So
that's what he is.
Okay, so but is Russell Westbrook not?
Some good things.
You see what I'm saying? So you gotta take the good.
Russell Westbrook, which means
do you want that or do
I
you want?
I get what you're saying. I just feel like
I
don't
want
last night 15 minutes was fair. I
I
feel like last night 15 minutes was fair with what he was doing.
Ugh.
If he's playing well, give him a longer leash. But if he's doing what he was doing last night,
I'm just like, it's Taurean Prince or Kyle Kuzma and Brook Lopez, who you guys hate. I'm like, at this point, you gotta give your the best.
I don't hate Brook. Just so we're clear, I definitely don't hate Brook.
The only one, Kuzma was out there for like 30 minutes. But everyone else, like, they're barely out there. Taurean Prince was like 20 minutes. Brook Lopez,
that's 20 minutes. That could have went to 10 of those minutes could have went to Kevin Porter, and 10 of them could have went to AJ Green.
Bro, can we just get 4 players who know how to play basketball to play with Giannis? I feel like he's good enough to figure it out. Okay. Can we just get 4 players who know how to play basketball next to Giannis?
Well,
just
that's
4.
the thing, Penn. We're working with a very limited group of guys.
The roster has like,
I feel like there's 4 players in that locker room. Maybe Doc got to suit up. Doc was a pretty smart player. Maybe he could suit up. Maybe he'd be player coach.
Darvin Ham could genuinely get minutes on it. Prime Darvin Ham could get minutes on this team.
Darvin Ham he might need to take over. I'm just like, we're not making no adjustments. We're not doing anything. And here's the thing.
Ron, to be fair, if we all acknowledge the roster stinks, which is what we're all doing, like, Chill believes in Kuzma for whatever reason. But, like, we all acknowledge the roster stinks. Like, what do you want him to do with a bunch of pieces that are trash?
You just experiment. Try something. He hasn't made any adjustments. We just talked about different rosters.
Oh, he made an adjustment.
He kept Bobby Portis on it.
What adjustment?
You don't see Brook Lopez up there trying to guard Tyrese Halliburton 25 feet?
He went to a more switching defense.
But then also
great adjustment. Great adjustment, Rod.
That zone was worse. That zone makes it. That zone's even actually worse for Brook Lopez.
Bro, you have a better chance of guarding Tyrese Halliburton by putting Brook Lopez 10 feet back and just holding your arms up and jumping. Okay.
He went to more switching. He's gone to a zone. Like, he's tried things. They just can't guard.
Oh my god!
And then offensively, I still think he's a net.
They're making
and that's what I'm saying.
Look
he
like
hasn't tried anything on offense,
and he's not.
He's never been good offensively.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be rough for the Bucks. At least they're going back home, and
hey, we'll Bucks and 7, man. Bucks and 7.
But also, shout out Tyrese Halliburton, 21 points, 12 assists. Shout out Pascal Siakam.
He had like 3 turnovers.
11 rebounds. Shout out Pascal. And just also we shouted out Nembhard too. Shout out to him, and just shout out Neesmith too. 16 points. Just shout out the whole Pacers team. They're looking very good right now.
Bucks and 7.
Yeah, but before we get to the super chats, I do want to show you guys this. Go ahead and throw this on the screen. We were talking about playoff series and who won and who lost and all of that good stuff. Well, let's check this out. Hold on, y'all. I'm finding the tab. Here we go. All right. This is series won and lost by individual players. And you know, we have some very good players right now in the NBA. We have Steph Curry, LeBron, Kawhi, James Harden. You know, all of these guys that have been around for a very long time.
Series in his life.
Steph Curry, yes, is 23 series won, 5 series lost.
Wow.
Damn.
What are those? And so 2013 they lost, 14 they lost, 16 they lost, 19 they lost, and 23. Yeah, it's easy to do that when you don't make the playoffs that much. Yeah.
I knew you were gonna say that. I brought this up. I said I can't wait for somebody to bring that up.
And of course, this dude up here.
LeBron is 41-13, 76%. He has the best percentage in the playoffs in terms of series won out of everybody.
Been in the league for 2 decades. He's won double basically everyone else. Like KD's crazy. 22 and Steph's 23, but basically double is crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of deep runs there through the East.
Yeah, through the East. Facts. So and 6 of those series lost were in the finals. So facts to that.
The same East that the Toronto Raptors was in winning games too, by the way. Don't leave that out.
Facts. When Penn wanted to glaze that East when it was Toronto's wins. Facts. Now all of a sudden, when it's LeBron, it's the East. When it's Toronto, they bet on the Lakers. Facts.
Talk about it, chill.
Chill, you good. Chill, you good.
Nah, no chill.
You good. That same East, he was glazing.
Hey, but look at DeMar DeRozan. 4 series won, 7 lost.
Damn, Dave.
That can't be right. That can't be right. Hang on, that's not right. No, that's not right. That can't be right.
Sure it is.
4 series won. Hold on.
Okay, so you
So
figured
he got bounced in the first round both years. Right?
Wait. In 14, that this is year 3. They beat the Rockets on the buzzer beater. Right, and then the next year in 15, they lose to the Warriors. 16, they lose to the Warriors.
What are we talking about, Dame?
Yes, we talking about Dame.
We talking about DeRozan.
Oh, you talking about DeRozan?
Oh no, DeMar. Yeah, DeMar. Yeah, it is because they beat the Pacers in 16. I remember that. DeMar was stinky, but they won the series. Then they went to the conference finals because they beat Miami, and then they lost. So that's 2 series wins.
Mm-hmm.
When they beat the Wizards, what are you talking about?
Oh, I'm talking about 2015. My bad. Keep going.
Oh,
proceed.
So they beat the Pacers, then they beat Miami, then they lost to Cleveland. Then they beat in 17. They won a series. I can't remember who they beat.
I have it right here.
And then in 18, they beat the Wizards, and then they lost to Cleveland. That's 4 series.
Damn. It felt like more.
Nope.
But in
it
fairness,
felt like home cooking, huh?
We won a lot more with when he left.
Yeah,
that's because you won a championship. That's why. And then you made the playoffs the next year, and then you didn't make the playoffs. You made the playoffs the next year in the bubble. You made the playoffs in the bubble.
Why is DeAndre Jordan here?
Got to the first round, got to the second round to a game 7.
And then you lost in 20. And then 21 you lost, and then you lost in the playoffs in 21. And then that was
in 6 games to Philly. Yeah,
to Philly. And then you haven't been in the playoffs since then.
Damn! Shout out Kawhi. Getting in 1 year, he got as many wins.
I'm on record saying if Leonard comes back, at minimum, the Raptors in the finals. At minimum.
Yeah, I think they go back to the finals. They go back to the finals.
At minimum, they're in the finals.
Damn, look at Chris Paul down here with a 44 series percentage, 12-15. Damn.
Is there anything that you would say like really unites the bottom of this list and the top of this list? Because I mean, Kawhi being at 70% does not shock me or hopefully anybody. Is the clutch gene real, or were these guys at the top?
The clutch gene real when I see the top 2 names? Hell no.
I feel like it's a combination of playoff risers at the top, combination, and good situations, right?
And championship DNA.
Damn, Giannis is gonna be 500 after this.
I thought you said Bucks and 7.
I say anything, Pen. Anything.
Hey man, James Harden, he's gonna be 53% or whatever.
Facts. Damn, Luka gonna be 500. Damn.
Well, this is what happens when you get bounced in the first round a whole bunch of times.
Bounced, by the way, not losing, bounced.
Yeah, y'all. Well, this is what it is. And if the Celtics win the championship, Jason Tatum would be 18-6. Anybody got quick math? Where would that put him? Would that put him at the top?
More in terms of percentage?
Yeah.
That'll be 18 out of 24. I don't think so.
It'd be 75%.
Yeah, I don't think so.
75%,
That'll,
okay,
that'll put him behind LeBron. And I know LeBron loses this series, so he'll be 41-14. So he'll be second.
Okay, shout out JT if they win the championship. But we'll tap back into that in a little bit, y'all. We got super chat, so let's go ahead and make the people happy by reading what the people had to say to us. The first super chat is from Ray. Ray said, "Do you think another part of the problem with Giannis and Dame could be Giannis's lack of post play?"
I mean, they are posting him up. They just double team whenever he's in the post. When you decide to put Kyle Kuzma one pass away.
I know this is a little off topic, but would you like to see LeBron in the post a little bit more for the Lakers?
Absolutely.
Yes.
LeBron
I feel like
Luka.
I don't know about Luka. He's finally getting past this man now. I would like to see LeBron in the post a little bit more.
I would like to see it in the non-Luka minutes because the non-Luka minutes aren't good. Like if you have LeBron,
I think he's settling for a lot of jumpers, and I feel like the
Yeah.
face-up game isn't necessarily there right now. And if the jumper isn't going, like he missed a lot of them short yesterday. I think it was like a back-to-back possession. They got an offensive rebound. He reset. Boom. Yeah, I think he could be a beast in the post, man. This is something that Jordan figured out. You know, when your pop goes, your strength comes. So, you know, just get in the post, bully ball, get turnarounds, play make out of the post. He could be a problem there.
I agree.
All right. The next super chat is from K Spiffy. K said, "If Giannis demands a trade, what are some destinations? ... Spurs.
Spurs would be crazy. Brooklyn.
Especially if San Antonio end up winning the lottery. And I told you this before. I told you guys before, especially you draft guys, you John D. You know that the Spurs own Atlanta's pick, and they didn't make the playoffs. So we could be looking at the Spurs getting 2 top 5 picks in this draft. Let's say they win the lottery.
I'm telling you, Colin Murray Boyles in San Antonio is going to feed families. It's going to feed families.
I'll take Giannis in Houston. I'll take him.
Colin, I would love to see, like, imagine just they're like, you know what, we're gonna luck into the number 1 pick, and then we get like the 8th pick. Let's go get Cooper Flag and Colin Murray Boyles. Let's just go get some real size and athleticism around Wemby, and we're just gonna be chasing everything. We're gonna be switching. Stephon Castle's gonna be fighting through screens, and Wemby's gonna be there and drop, and he's gonna be fantastic. And Cooper Flag and Colin Murray Boyles are gonna be help side rim protectors. I can't. I wouldn't even.
Wemby is your best shooter. Interesting.
Mars, how you feel about how you feel about?
We're gonna work on that. Just
because I know how you feel about Fred VanVleet, Mars. How you feel about Dame coming to H-Town?
Who?
Damian Lillard.
I'm good.
I don't hate that.
I'm good. I'm good.
You sure you straight, Mars?
You think the defense is like that bad?
I think it's good. I
don't want defensive liabilities on the team. I don't personally.
I think it's good enough to protect Dame. And
I don't want to protect anyone. I don't want anyone to protect.
That one thing that you've been complaining about with Fred VanVleet, the shot selection, the efficiency.
But then it's like
Dame has bad shot selection. He just makes it.
But he makes
it. That's the difference, right? Yeah.
I don't want anyone on the team who has to be.
Damian Lillard would never shoot 4 for 19 in a playoff series and come out dressed like Kim Jong-un and blame the fans. That's what Fred VanVleet did.
He'll shoot 4 for 19. I don't care how he dresses after.
He went 4 for 14 yesterday. So
yeah, I don't care what you wear after you sell my team. Come out wearing a dress. Come out wearing. Wear whatever you want. If you sold the team, you sold the team. I don't care what you wear. Like, goddamn, just who? Please. I don't want anyone on the team who has to be hidden on defense. Like, that's not ideal in any situation. Like, I understand that there's some defenses that can make that work. I also think in the modern NBA, you probably don't want those people. Like, I'm not dealing with that, especially when you're a 6'2" guard. Like, that just makes it so annoying. So everyone needs to be able to guard and hold their own. Like, if we have it to hide you, it compromises the integrity of the defense. I'm good on Dame. Shout out to Dame, though, but I'm good on him in Houston. Good player, really good. Just away from me.
All right. Grande Jones sent through a members chat, and he said, they say Tyrese is the most overrated. It's Jaren, quote unquote, I can't rebound Jackson Jr. Shaking my head. Get this bum out of here.
Bam.
Did you see what Alex Caruso was doing to him?
Yes.
On the glass yesterday?
Yes.
That's what I mean when I say it's not an effort thing with Jaren Jackson Jr. He's just a bad rebounder. He doesn't know how to rebound the basket.
Just pushing him out the way.
Like, it's genuinely sad to watch. But he doesn't know how to rebound.
And he has all the athletic tools and when you design a rebounder, What do you want? You want good hands, good touch, good anticipation, good hand-eye coordination, long arms, big caboose. That's what you want in a good rebounder.
It helps.
Bro,
100% helps.
It does help. Kyle Lowry rebounded a hell of a lot for a guard, largely bumping guys out of the way with the lower body strength. So, I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. has everything required to be a good rebounder. I feel like I need to lock this guy in the gym with, maybe like Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman for like an entire summer. Yeah. And you don't rebound, we throw balls at your head.
I just think the effort isn't there. That's what I think it is more than anything. He can be pushed off of his spots so easily. You as a rebounder, there are things that are inherited. So one of the things that are inherited as a rebounder is just a nose for the ball. You know where the ball is going to be. That's just part of being a rebounder. And now and I've said this to Mars countless times as a rebounder. I can teach you footwork. I can teach you how to slip screens. I can teach you how to block out. In the end, stick your nose and then go get the ball. Stick your nose and then go get the basketball. If you letting Alex Caruso keep you off the glass just by simply blocking you, slipping him, go get the basketball. That's an effort thing. I don't think that has anything to do with footwork. I don't think that has anything to do with knowing how to slip block. That's an effort thing.
Is he a quick jumper? Is he a quick jumper, Joe?
For his size, yes, he is.
Seems like he is.
Yes.
He's athletic.
100%.
I mean, if you can get up there,
the moment you bump him, he has this weird thing. If you bump him, his arms come down. I don't know what it is. If you bump him, his arms come down, and all of a sudden he's committing fouls.
That's why I love you guys.
If you hit him, his arms go from here to down here, and he's hitting.
That is the reason right there, what you just said, why I loved you guys against Memphis, because I thought Steven Adams could take him out.
For sure.
For that reason right there.
But can I say one thing real quick?
Go ahead.
When we had, because a lot of people have been talking to me about Jaren Jackson and how I said that Jaren Jackson's bad rebounding isn't a problem or isn't going to hurt the Grizzlies. If you remember the conversations me and Chill had, my question to Chill has always been, why is Jaren Jackson's rebounding a problem if the Grizzlies get the rebounds anyway? That's always been my question.
Yep.
In the playoffs, they're not getting the rebounds.
Nope.
So now it's a problem. All I've ever said about Jaren Jackson is if the team gets the rebound, I don't care if Jaren Jackson gets it or not. Now we're at a point where in this series, with Jaren Jackson on the floor, the Oklahoma City Thunder are rebounding 25% of their misses. That's a problem. Now I'm like, okay, it's hurting the team. Yes, games where they get the rebounds anyway, I don't care that Jaren Jackson gets 4 rebounds. But if he's actively not getting the rebounds and the team isn't getting the rebounds, that's where I have a problem. So I've never said Jaren Jackson's rebounding isn't a problem. Right. What I've said was, if the Grizzlies get the rebound anyway, I don't care who gets it. Now we're at a point where they're not getting the rebounds and Jaren Jackson is getting bullied. It's a problem.
And that was my counter to you, Mars. The fact that, okay, yes, the team is getting the rebound. What happens when we run up on somebody that's going to keep these other guys off the glass?
The issue is OKC shouldn't be able to do that. That's the issue. Right. Houston, I was with you. I even said, remember, I said in the Houston series, it's going to be bad. I didn't think OKC aren't a good offensive rebounding team. But guess what? They know this man can't rebound. So now all of a sudden, they're all of them
jumping them. Are they getting like a lot of long rebounds? Because OKC shot 45 threes last night. They missed 30 of them. I wonder how many of those threes they rebounded. Because I feel like their guards are really physical, very twitchy, very long, and very just generally tenacious getting to the basketball. They have a nose for the basketball. That's what I'll say about Cason Wallace, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, even Jalen Williams. You could say that about Isaiah Joe. You could say that about a lot of players on that team. If you play for that team, you have a nose for the basketball. So I feel like taking a lot of threes probably works in their advantage because they probably have a rebounding advantage on long.
With Jaren Jackson on the floor in this series, OKC have rebounded 34% of their missed threes. So 1 in 3. 1 in 3 missed threes they've rebounded.
So what he got to do with that?
I mean, the missed twos.
He's part of it.
With Jaren Jackson on the floor, OKC have rebounding 37% of their missed twos. But then when Jaren Jackson's off the floor, they rebound, the Grizzlies rebound 85% of all missed twos. And then when Jaren Jackson's off the floor, they rebound 72% of all of the missed threes.
Come on, Penn. That's part of your job.
The team doesn't rebound when Jaren Jackson's on the floor. That hasn't been the case in the regular season. I can give you the regular season numbers. It's been the opposite. In the playoffs, it's been a problem. That's my issue. With Jaren Jackson on the floor this season, they rebound 67% of all missed twos. And when he's off the floor, they rebound 65%. So it gets worse. And then the same thing with threes. The issue is in the playoffs, the inverse is happening, which is why I'm saying it's more of a problem now. So
Yo,
yeah,
I'm telling you, we talked about Giannis destinations and whatnot. I know one thing. If I'm Memphis, I know I'm not paying Jaren Jackson. I call up the Bucks, say, hey, I got an all-star, I got all NBA player, I got a DPOY for you. He's only 25. Take him. Give me Giannis.
What are they giving you?
What do you mean? What are they giving you?
You're not doing it straight up. So like
Giannis. you take Jaren Jackson, take some draft picks. Hey, take Gigi Jackson. Yeah, you get a nice good young franchise player.
Hold on for 1 second.
There's no way.
Hey, chill.
Click.
Chill. Hey, what you always say, chill? You gotta ask. Hey, just ask. Yo, I'm a 3-time All-Star. I just got All NBA, Defensive Player of the Year. Oh, yeah,
hold on. Could you legitimately make a around Jaren Jackson and Giannis makes sense? I think you have to include probably Gigi Jackson plus Jalen Wells plus like 2 first-round picks. Minimum.
If Giannis asks out, then maybe.
If Giannis asks out, yes.
I'm not.
I
can bring up like 5 other teams that can make better offers, though.
I'm not saying that they can. I'm saying if
Jaren Jackson plus
the Grizzlies,
Gigi plus Jalen Wells plus 2 first-round picks.
If I'm the Grizzlies, I'm calling right now.
That's a pretty good offer, dude. I mean, that's not a bad offer. Don't get me wrong. That's not a bad offer at all.
It's a great offer.
What if they threw Bane trying to pay Giannis and Triple J? That's what I thought you was trying to do.
Salary cap, yo. You're not giving 100 million of salary.
Yeah. But all right, y'all. The next super chat comes courtesy of Ant MJ 235. Ant said, is there any pressure for Ant to win this series? The Lakers have 3 out of the 4 or 5 best players in this series, and the best player is considered a top 2 or 3 player. Plus, the Lakers were pretty heavy betting favorites.
Which, by the way, can I expand on that question? Let's say the Lakers win this series, right? Let's say that the Lakers win this series here. Not the Lakers, I'm sorry. Let's say Minnesota wins this series here. So, Ant has dropped both KD and Book. Then he dropped Joker. And then this year, he drops Luka and James. What's the pressure on Luke? What's the pressure on Ant now to win? Because like you can't keep dropping these guys and not win.
Well, this is what happens when young players
drop Steph in the next round too. If this is the avenue we're going,
yes,
and Jimmy Butler, I guess.
Sure.
Then he's probably gonna have to drop SGA.
Then he's gonna have to drop Shea in the conference finals. Or best case scenario, he has to drop Jokic or Kawhi and James Harden just for the legacy purposes because they're probably higher in the echelon than Shea. And then in the finals, if we're talking about who's the most impressive to beat, probably want the Bucks to get to the finals. You drop Giannis, like.
I just think that I just think that when you have that on your resume, I do think that there's pressure to win this series. I mean, they traded for Julius Randle. It was a money situation, no doubt about that. They much rather they didn't like paying, and they thought that Julius Randle was going to be worse, so they didn't have to pay him. Only except it hasn't worked out.
Yeah, it actually hasn't been that bad.
No, it actually hasn't been. They thought that they were going to be able.
Who would have thought?
They thought he was going to be able to opt out of this deal or hold on to this little bit of money. Well, it looks like, Julius Randle has actually been really good. So with that being said, with this team finishing the way that they finished at the end of the season and how they look against the Lakers, and even though they are the lower seed, there is pressure on Minnesota to win because again, they didn't make this trade for nothing. They did.
Chill. I don't think
they're the better team. I don't give a shit about the lower seed or whatever. I think if I'm not mistaken, I'm just going.
It was a 1-game difference. It's a
1-game difference, but it's a huge difference. Hold on, hang on. If I'm not mistaken, were the Wolves like a top 6 net rating team, and the Lakers were like 13th or something this year?
Top 6.
Like the Wolves are a top 10 defense and a top 10 offense, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think the Lakers are not that. So the Wolves actually. Like
they're 5th in net rating.
There we go. 5th in net rating. Yeah. Okay, the same thing that everyone keeps bringing up. OKC is so great, number 1 in net rating. Yeah, the Wolves are 5th in that. Okay,
I think.
Would you care to tell us who number 1, 2, and 3, 4 are? Because I'm pretty sure we think all of those teams are contenders.
Bear with me. I might have been looking at the wrong
net rating.
I'm an idiot
So
sometimes.
Oklahoma City is number 1 in net rating.
OKC's number 1, Cleveland's number 2, Boston's number 3, the Pacers are number 4, the Warriors are 5.
Oh yeah, I looked at the wrong thing. 6.
Timberwolves are 6. Okay.
Apologies.
It looks
guys,
like the Celtics and Cleveland are tied. Celtics and Cleveland are tied for 2. Minnesota is 4.
Oh, this is the playoffs. Hold on, I'm looking at the wrong.
I looked to see. We looked at the same thing, and I'm gonna go to good old peasant.
And the Clippers are 5.
They're 4th in net rating per Basketball Reference, behind OKC, Boston, and Cleveland. Now it's a substantial gap between those 3.
Fair,
but they are,
of course,
they are 4.
So
for what it's worth, the Grizzlies are 6.
So again, like I always say, you need 3 things. You need 4 things to be an NBA champion, and I think that this thing holds true through most of NBA history. I think every NBA champion you can go back to, you'll find like maybe one exception to this, maybe, and you'd have to stretch it. You need a top 5 to top 7 player. You need a player who can be in that discussion. You need a top 10 defense, a top 10 offense, and you need actual battle scars in the playoffs, which means you would have had to make at least a substantial run in one of, if not all 3 of the previous 3 years, because the average NBA champion, I think I tested this. I did the numbers for this, like for, I want to say like 20-year sample. The average NBA champion wins an average of 54 games per season for the 3 years prior to when they win it. Exceptions are almost always the Lakers. Okay. But most other teams, they do that. Okay. I'm not even throwing shade. I'm just saying sometimes y'all just come out of nowhere and win a championship and then just go away for a while. So like, I think the Minnesota
kind of like you just get Luka on your damn team. Shit like that be happening to y'all. So.
Yeah, Anthony Davis, Paul Gasol. Like it shit happens, right? You're terrible for a bunch of years. You screw up all your draft picks, and then the league is like, wait a second, you're mismanaging your organization. We got to give you a gift here. CP3. Nah, we're gonna nix that. Look. What I'm saying is, this Minnesota team actually checks every single box. Okay, it does.
I just we talked about the 4 things. The Lakers have 3 of the 4 things. They have the top 10 offense, they have the battle scars, and they have the top 5 to 7 player.
You don't have battle scars with this group. You don't have battle scars with this group, my guy.
Yes, I mean, I get that, but it's like
I'm about to get back to the super chat. We debated Wolves and Lakers for the whole first hour of the show, y'all.
All right.
The next super chat that I got is from Trey. Sent through a members chat and said, "Why are we talking about the Raptors in the playoffs?"
I mean, sometimes you want to talk about the teams.
I'm going to talk so much shit next year when Brandon Ingram starts lighting up the league. You watch. You just watch. Y'all forget.
When I said that Brandon Ingram shouldn't have been in the bottom tier of passers, I got pushback. Man, all of a sudden, when Penguin say it next season, Brandon Ingram a really good passer. I'm like, what?
He's great.
All right, Charles. Shout out to Fleece Johnson because Fleece Johnson became.
Oh, shout out to Fleece Johnson for sure. Yeah, shout out to Fleece Johnson. Isn't that right, John D? Shout out to Fleece Johnson.
MP13 said, Can we stop always comparing players instead of just appreciating their good play? Kawhi is finally healthy, and I immediately see Real Talk and Gifted comparing his playoff production to Curry.
Yeah, I seen
that's never gonna go away.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I spoke about that on Twitter, and then someone responded saying if it's so easy to talk about Kawhi without comparing him, do it on the panel the next day. And then I proceeded to praise Kawhi without comparing him to anyone because it's not that difficult. But yeah, everything turns into a comparison and about why this guy's better than that guy. It's like, well, sometimes you could just say a player is great without saying are they.
But how great, Mars? We need context. And
it can be amazing. It doesn't mean I have to be like someone makes 12 threes. Oh, he's an amazing shooter. Is he better than Steph though?
But I feel like people are naturally comparative thinkers. I think a lot of people are, weirdly enough. So if you say my girl is fine, someone would be like, how fine? She better than Megan Good? Better than Megan Good? Better than Beyonce?
That's fine. That can be the situation. Like, and I'm not against comparison. I think a lot of the conversations we have does turn into comparisons, and I don't think that's a problem. It's just like when every conversation has to be a comparison, and then ultimately because it turns into a comparison, it ends up with one side ends up just downplaying Kawhi, for example, and then the other side downplaying Curry, trying to uplift Kawhi and uplift Curry. And it's like, well, at this point now we're just criticizing these players in a situation that neither one of them needed to be criticized. I can say Kawhi was amazing without downplaying how amazing Steph was. But
You mean
somehow every
like
time it's a
every-
comparison, that ends up happening.
You mean
That's what throws me
every
off.
single time we try to praise Jokic's offense, someone just comes around and is like, but what about his defense and his rim pressure and his rim deterrence and his shot blocking?
99% are rim deterrent, by the way. Just putting
He's doing a lot of rim deterring.
Respect his rim deterrents. Yeah, respect his rim deterrents.
All right, the next member chat I got is from Bam Gabe. Gabe said, Shea not even a top 5 foul baiter in the league. 77 is way worse.
Yo, respect to my countryman Nikola Jokic, but oh my god, did I just see the guy like rolling around like a child on the ground, trying to bait a ball?
He did get popped though. He did get popped real good.
See, here we go, man.
You can't be a grown man in the fetal position on national television. Chill. You got to have some decorum. You got to take your chops to the face like a man. You know.
He flopped. Here's what it is. He flopped.
I think I'm very
LeBron flopping, Jalen Brunson flopping, everybody flopping, man.
I think I'm very
a new award,
selective,
flopper of the year.
I think I'm very selective with my hate when it comes to flopping because I actively don't love watching Jalen Brunson flop, but I know Luka, LeBron, and AR are going to flop. Like I know what's going to happen. I don't care. I don't care when they do it, but when Jalen Brunson's doing it, I'm like, man, get this off my TV, bro. I can't watch it. So I know I'm biased when it comes to the flopping, so I just stay out of the conversation.
I would seriously, if I was the commissioner, I would issue 1-game suspensions for every time flop.
I'm sorry. Isn't that actually a thing? Like when you flop,
it's meant to be, but they don't.
Isn't that a thing? Like that's not something you're making up, Penn. That's a thing. It's in the rule book.
Yeah, 1-game suspensions, chill.
That's in the rule book. Like, okay,
you get suspended for a game.
You get a $5,000 fine after you get a $5,000 fine after flopping. Yeah, suspensions are next. Yes, that's in the rule book.
No, I would do 1-game suspension right away, and if you do it twice, you miss like. I don't know, like we go crazy with this, right? Like if you really want to get it out of the system, you can't just be appealing to the goodness of the game. You can't be. You got to make it so that it is going to cost your team the series if you try to do this. That's all. Yeah.
All right. Pip named Slickback said, I promise you, if the Spurs have 2 top 5 picks, you will see me on the 6 p.m. news. I will be having a long and very aggressive conversation with that pinhead Adam Silver. Not after what my team been through.
He a Nets fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think y'all sold that.
I'm gonna be honest.
Y'all sold that.
I seen the Suns won the tiebreaker against the Blazers. That gave us a 0.1 extra % chance of getting the number 1 pick. Shout out to the Suns.
Before we move on, yeah, the draft is gonna be really fun. The draft is going to be.
I can't wait.
May 12th. Cooper Flag coming to Houston. I'm telling you, Cooper Flag coming to
Houston. Can I
give
you guys a name to watch out for? Adu Thero.
I saw it. Yeah, he's nice. He's nice.
Damn.
Roko Zakarski. I want y'all to pay attention to that. Thomas Sorber, one of the best drop covers.
Focus, Ron. I know y'all love this draft stuff. Focus, guys. We got plenty of time for the draft. I promise you. We got.
We do have the off season. Yeah, we do.
Yes.
Wait, when is the draft? Right after the finals?
The lottery is May 12th, and the draft is actually like a week after. And
like June 24th, I think.
Yeah,
I'm about to start doing like my team previews.
Dude. It's not a week after; it's almost a month.
The draft is in June, is it not?
Yeah, the draft is in June.
That's right off the finals.
The draft lottery. The draft lottery is
after the finals.
I said the draft lottery
after the finals.
Yeah, the draft lottery is the second. Is during the second round. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. The draft lottery
is May 12th.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be there for that for sure.
19 NFL draft too tomorrow.
I'm gonna be honest. We get the number 1 pick. Woof.
Can you handle it, Mars?
Mars, hey Mars, you got a week off. Don't even worry about it.
I'm actively praying y'all don't get the first pick. Like
we get the number 1 pick. Come on.
There's
we get the number 2 pick. I'll take Dylan Harper. Bye, Jalen. What the hell, man? Top 2 pick.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. If y'all get Dylan.
And you don't got to trade for Book.
Jalen might have to pack that.
I don't want them. But
Fred VanVleet's gone. I want Jalen next to Dylan. But we don't got time.
2025 NBA draft is June 25th. June 25th.
Okay.
World Peace said, chill. You think Dennis Rodman is the greatest rebounder of all time?
Pound for pound, yes, I do. I think he's the greatest rebounder, pound for pound. But overall, no. I think that's Chamberlain.
Chill. Even with them pounds, I got Dennis. Like, and I don't even think twice. Dude averaged 18 in a
per pound. Give me Muggsy Bogues, man. That man averaged 4 rebounds.
I don't think
he averaged 4 rebounds one time. Well, I'm sorry, pound for pound. He averaged 1 offensive rebound a game at 5'3". Give me Muggsy Bogues. 5'3", 135, getting 1 offensive rebound a game.
Imagine what he'd do with more threes.
Well,
Like,
wasn't he playing something like 35 minutes a game? Muggsy was something like that.
Yeah, those were uncontested. Mars, come
Wilt
on.
was playing
Right,
48.
Kyle Kuzma played 20
Exactly.
minutes the other day at 6'9" and got 0 rebounds. Show, come on.
Like,
That is
come
that
on,
is
man.
unacceptable.
Somebody
Brook Lopez got 1.
Somebody
Did he
else
get
is
1?
6'7", averaged 18.7 rebounds, led the league, 18 rebounds the next season, 17, 16, 14, 16, and then averaged 15. Led the league in rebounding all those years. It's just like at 6'7" to do that, I can't compare anybody else to you.
Chill, you're gonna lose your mind. Kyle Kuzma and Brook Lopez played a combined 47 minutes yesterday. That's almost a full game, and they got 4 rebounds combined. 6'9".
Well, Brook Lopez has never been a rebounder. Never.
Fair enough, but 1 rebound in 16 minutes is
He
crazy.
boxes out. But like,
True.
Muggsy Bogues averaged 1 offensive rebound a game. Jason Tatum averages 0.7. Like, I'm sorry, 5'3", 1 offensive rebound every game, 4 rebounds a game. I'm sorry, that moves me in an era where like the bigs were getting real rebounds, fighting down there.
You know,
And
like
Muggsy
Dennis
just
Rodman
coming
was
in.
like
Man,
6'7", right?
he was just running in there snatching rebounds from people. He wasn't really like.
You know how you gonna jump to snatch a rebound at 5'3"?
No, when they got it and brought it down, he snatched it from him.
Okay.
Mars is sitting there like, damn, it's been possible this whole time.
Nah, I'm sorry, man. I did not know Muggsy was averaging 4 whole rebounds.
Shout out Muggsy.
That's
man.
crazy.
Styles Blackman with the super chat. Styles said, "Why wasn't you saying this when the Knicks was playing? Chill. You complained about every call they got. John D, a Lakers fan. Of course, you don't see it."
Yeah, I'm blind.
I wasn't okay. First of all, I wasn't complaining about every call at the Knicks got. I was complaining about the refereeing late in the game. That's what I was complaining about. Don't do that, Styles. Don't. No.
I'm blind to the
You better
bullshit,
than that.
Styles.
Huncho said Jericho Sims is a free agent this offseason. Is he a pick and roll big the Lakers need?
If we walk into next season with a center rotation of Jericho Sims and Jackson Hayes, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind.
Jericho Sims is a backup big. That's what he is. And Jackson Hayes is a third string big.
To John D's point, there's a list of to-do. There's a to-do list with the Lakers. At the top of that list
At
is
the
get a 5
very
man.
top
Get a
of
5
the
man.
damn list.
Get a 5 man.
I have Joe Lando.
Get a 5 man.
$8 million.
You can keep him.
Thank you. No, thank you.
You can keep him.
Guarantee if I offered you Steven Adams, you'd say yes.
Steven Adams better. John D, if y'all got any draft picks, this draft is loaded with centers and good ones.
Hey,
too.
man, you know what? See, Penn, this is like we see eye to eye when it comes to this draft shit. We see eye to eye. It's like this is the year where it's like, you know what? We
is
can
that
go
the
get
Real Hoop Talk podcast? You too?
Oh
no, you guys see eye to eye. It's the Hoop C podcast.
Okay.
Yep.
Worth Living has some serious and critical words of you guys. So take note, take heed. Worth Living said, fans are so biased. Can't state the obvious. These teams don't know you. Neither do the players. You got to unmouth them.
Man, get out of here. I don't want to hear that shit.
I do agree. The teams don't know.
I can't stand people like that, yo. We do this because we enjoy doing it. If you don't want to, if you're clearly trying to get us here. Yes. This is this guy makes me crazy. Give me a break, man.
Hey, no, facts though. Like I could do this for free. Like I don't. Like I could do this for free. Like,
Can you at least bring up the subject change?
You don't even charge for mouthing people.
No, I'm saying like talking about
just giving
basketball.
up the draw.
About
right.
See, no, because we're not. I'm not gonna let no.
Mars know about giving up the draw.
No, because this is not gonna get clipped. This is not gonna get clipped.
You gotta get for free.
This is not gonna get clipped. I'm talking about
Mars
basketball, not mouthing people. Not mouthing people.
Thank you for clarifying that. Those deep breaths were about to get a real new context there. Okay.
See that now I'm about to get clipped, and that's gonna circle through TikTok and Twitter, and
so you said you don't.
6 months from now,
well, now you can say it, Will.
I don't judge, man.
There's nothing wrong with free services, y'all, at all. But either way it goes, Aura sent through a super chat and said, "I don't know about y'all, but I still see the Wolves coming out of this in 6 or 7."
Yeah, this is a close series, man. So,
you know what's funny about Aura? Aura is a sponsor for the Timberwolves.
Oh,
there you go.
So Aura's mouthing the Timberwolves.
I don't know who the worst rebounder ever is, Mo. I don't. I wish I could tell you, but I don't. Maybe Dwayne Shintis with the Nets.
Also, Jaren Jackson Jr.
Also, thank you to Chill and John D that maybe there's a viral clip that comes out of PC where I don't look like a complete dumbass. It's great, man. I've been waiting for one of these.
Oh God, man, I'm down to look like a dumbass. It's all good.
Yes, he is getting an extension, Fent. Yes, he is. He's just not getting a Supermax extension. So,
you running 5.7 said JT plus SGA can drop 5 points and a team win by double digits while Giannis averaging 35 points on 70.1 true shooting and can't win. Please ask out. Middle finger to Brooke, Doc, Horst, Kuz, and TP.
I mean, it's almost as if one player can't win by themselves. Like this series is like the pure indicator of when you guys say you gotta win. Like, I'm sorry, like what do you expect Giannis to do with this? Like he can't win with this. It's not possible. Doesn't mean Giannis ain't a good player, but you can't win like this. It's not possible.
Yeah, I'm cheering for.
LeBron got to the finals
and lost
with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
And lost.
And would you really win? Yeah, no, I understand. He went up against the Spurs and he lost, but he also beat like a whole bunch of teams to get there. He also beat the Detroit Pistons,
and ultimately he lost.
Well, I'm just saying when you throw Giannis, when you throw Giannis, hang on. First of all, if Giannis can't get out of the first round, when's the last time Giannis won a playoff game?
I also want to. The last time 2022. I
was just going to bring this up.
I also want to make it abundantly clear: the 07 Cavs would lose to this Pacers team.
Facts.
So like. Sure, he got out the East, whatever, cool. The 07 Cavs would lose to this Pacers team.
No, 18 Cavs would lose
to this Pacers team.
The 07 Cavs would lose to this Pacers team.
No, they would not.
Yes, they would.
Respect.
Hey, they put up a better fight than this.
That's cool. They can put up a better fight.
They put up a better fight than this.
They were not. They were not.
He's going 6 or 7.
They were not a mentally.
They would lose. I don't care who. I don't care if they lose in 7 games.
Is this Pacer team better than that Detroit team in 06 and 07?
No, that Detroit team would stomp them too. He's talking about Rasheed Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun.
Cleveland beat them.
That's amazing.
Come on, man. No, this is disrespectful. This is before your time, Mars. Sit down.
They lose the series.
Or stand up, Mars. Whatever. But
I'll sit down, but they lose the series.
Alan L said if Luka is missing his free throws, you can almost guarantee he's going to be bricking threes. Weirdest thing about him. Also, Ron, all your teams are dog water. So, hey, I'm in the free agency pool, right? Hey, right when this summer hits,
Ron, right back in the streets. Ron for the streets. Ron is for the streets.
Sign this contract, man.
Ron is 100% for the streets.
This is for you to play in LA.
No, I can't sell my soul. I can't do that.
Hey, it's always on the table. We're just gonna leave it right here.
All right. LeVar B. Ballin said, let's move on. Raptors aren't in the playoffs and they booty cheeks. This that Pat Bev next 5 years are mine agenda.
Except, okay, cool. Keep that energy next year, man. I'm telling you this, man. I stand for my team, even when they were losing. I was insufferable when they were losing. Can you just imagine how insufferable I'm gonna be when they're not losing? Just wait.
I don't blame you.
Stand for your team, yo. I'm not for these like the hoes ain't loyal stuff. Like stand with your team, man. If you do not support your team when they are in their Malachi Flynn era, then you don't deserve the Kawhi Leonard era.
Shout out Malachi Flynn. Ron, put me on the big screen, Ron. Sent through a super chat and said that was a jabroni win. Wolves in 5. Kevin Gates pulls up courtside at the Lakers game after dissing LeBron's wife, and LeBron did nothing.
Of course.
What do you want LeBron to do?
Right.
He's got playoff games to win. You think he went
to Stephen A.
Okay, so you want him to hold that energy for everybody. Okay.
Hey.
Maybe you got to be 60 plus before LeBron comes at you.
Optimal Focus said Penn always trying to make scenarios to fit his 13 years. Really? Y'all gotta stop this man. Raptors are out. They luck.
Raptors out. They suck. Raptors are out. They suck.
Mm-hmm.
Let it
go. Are they out? Do they suck?
Top 3 defense, 44 games. Smoke it.
C2 React said, if 09 Braun was on this Lakers team, will y'all have them as the favorite?
09 Braun?
Yes.
The favorite in what, the Lakers?
Easily, yes.
With Luka?
In the Wolves series or in the NBA?
With a 25-year-old Luka, 26-year-old Luka, you put an 09 Braun on this. Who beating them 4 times in a week? I'm listening.
Okay, see.
I feel like
I'm all
OKC
in.
would struggle against two decision makers as good as 09 LeBron. Dude, 09
LeBron now
LeBron?
is a better decision maker than 09.
They about to suffer.
That's
They about to
besides
struggle
enough.
against two decision makers when they get there.
No, I don't
09
know.
LeBron was
09
a
LeBron
demon
was such a
athlete.
cheat code. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm so
Yeah.
with the spacing of today's NBA.
Ain't no way in hell. Ain't
I
no
mean,
way in hell.
if you can't stop Giannis,
Well, I'm
you
sorry,
definitely
that's
can't stop
ridiculous.
He's
LeBron.
putting
That's
his face in the. He's putting his face in the rim with a clogged lane in 09. Imagine.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry.
dudes
I ain't
having
never
covered
seen.
this
I
much
ain't never
space.
seen
Good
anything
break.
like that. But to be fair, 09 LeBron did lose to the Magic.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yeah, but he didn't have a co-pilot as good as Luka.
No, he did
Yeah,
not have
the
Luka.
07 LeBron didn't have a co-pilot, and apparently they beat the Pacers. So.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you this. I think Austin Reeves right now is probably better than his second best player back then.
Which is why I'm confused why you think they beat the Pacers.
Because I don't think the Pacers are that good.
Okay,
Shit.
I'm gonna go the simple route. Who's a better player, 07 LeBron or Giannis right now?
Oh, Giannis.
Giannis right now.
Okay, who's a better player?
Hang on.
Whoever the Cavs' second best player was in 07.
You know what?
Or
07
Damian Lillard right now.
Give me 07 LeBron.
Okay, you can think that by yourself.
Actually, can I get 08 LeBron? I feel
No,
like-
because that's not the year they went to the finals.
Mars, that's
Okay.
not fair though. But I know we got.
No.
Hold on.
Mars,
you're not
I was
fair
the
here.
crazy
Yeah,
guy
that's fair,
for
Mars.
saying that the Pacers would beat the 07 Cavs. So I'm gonna go down the route of how every
Nah.
series gets
You know
explained to me.
what? Screw it. I'll
Who's
stay
the
on
best
business for
player?
this one.
25
LeBron.
Giannis or 07
Mars, we can't do that. And the reason why
Who's
we
the
can't
next
do
best
that.
player?
Okay.
Damian Lillard or whoever the Cavs'
So
next best player
if we're gonna use that logic, who's better, Rasheed Wallace or Danielle Marshall? Who's better, Booby Gibson or Rip Hamilton?
But LeBron was
Who's
the best player in
better,
the series.
Eric
That's
Snow
fine.
or
That's
Chauncey
fine.
Billups?
That's
Who's
fine.
better?
LeBron
And they
was
beat them
the best
dudes.
player in the series.
break,
That's fine.
Mars.
No, because my
Come on,
question
man.
is about the Bucks are losing to the Pacers because Giannis can't do everything by himself.
Sure.
Giannis is better than 07 LeBron, but you're telling me 07 LeBron with a bummer supporting cast is beating the Pacers team that is destroying Giannis.
His
Explain
supporting cast wasn't as
I love
bum
when
ass
Mars
as this.
curses. I love.
Oh,
it's
okay.
so
If that's the
fucking funny.
case, if the
It's so
07
fucking
Cavs
funny.
have a better supporting cast than Giannis has right now, with Damian Lillard, okay, you got it.
It's
Okay.
not about two players, yo. It's
I
about
agree.
your
I
consist-
agree.
Look
bro.
at the team that he had. Okay, I feel like you forgot their team. Okay,
Oh, I remember the team. I remember the team.
Booby Gibson, Drew Gooden, Larry Hughes, Jaduna
Booby
Silgauskas,
cooking.
right?
Really cooking.
Danielle Marshall, Ira Newble, Sasha Pavlovich, Scott Pollard, Eric Snow, Anderson Varejao, David
Are
Wesley.
you hearing
I
these
feel like
names?
yes, I'm hearing these names. As someone who grew up watching these players, I can tell you they were all extremely smart players for the most part. Okay,
Right.
really smart
Ira
players who
Newble,
knew how to play
Mr.
basketball, Mars. And I feel like you don't get the gap between players who know how to play basketball and Kyle Kuzma
Oh, I know how bad Kyle Kuzma is. I'm aware.
and KCP. And frankly, I feel like that team was built for a different era.
KCP.
Obviously, sorry, not KCP,
Torian Prince.
KPJ.
Oh, KPJ.
Kevin. Sorry, I feel like that team was built for that era. Obviously,
Yes.
like
It's another
Jaduna
reason why they would
Silgauskas,
also
right?
lose to the Pacers.
Okay, but
Merry
All right,
Christmas,
chill.
Fellas,
Peace,
I gotta
Joe.
bounce. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right.
I just feel like in today's era, there's no way you're gonna stockpile that many drop bigs. You probably get a switchable big.
Yeah, but now you're
But-
changing the team. My point was they would lose to this Pacers team.
I just feel like LeBron is just that
Illy
much better of an
cooking. That's
anchor,
all I
man.
know.
He's
Yeah, Giannis is that much
Look,
better than
no.
whoever.
You could say what you want about like you could say what you want about like how good you think Giannis is.
better
He
than
and
07
LeBron are not close.
He's
past
better
him.
than 07 LeBron.
I
Giannis
think-
right now is better than 22-year-old LeBron James.
Is he a better shooter? No.
He's better than 22-year-old
Is-
LeBron James.
Yo,
Is he a
Pen.
better shooter? No.
He's
Is he a
better than
passer?
22-year-old
No.
LeBron James.
Is he a better athlete right now?
He's
No.
better than 22-year-old LeBron James.
Nah, you're just looking at the numbers.
We'll
and
run,
you're
we'll run
explaining-
another poll. We'll run another poll.
Go for it. Go for it.
We'll
You get
see.
a lot of.
You know, LeBron fans are going to be on your side. I'm curious.
I just feel like people really sleeping on how good 23-year-old LeBron was. He's a really good player.
I don't think any. Well,
Bro, you know how good you have to be to put up as many points as he did against the Pistons? That was a great defense. Still very legitimately good.
Giannis would have shredded them too.
I don't disagree with that. I feel like the difference is here that I feel like LeBron makes his teammates better. Much better. Because he's just that much better as a passer. I feel like when you get the ball from guys like LeBron and James Harden and Chris Paul, you're just better. You're more efficient.
I just don't understand how every hypothetical series LeBron apparently wins. Like, it just doesn't add up.
Oh, he lose plenty of hypothetical series. He's just not losing to the friggin' Indiana Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
Pascal Siakam, get out of here, man.
Well, it's not about players, apparently. It's about intelligent basketball players, which the Pacers have a bunch of, right? That's the argument you just made against the Bucks. Andrew Nembhard, Tyrese Halliburton, who you said never makes a bad decision. Pascal Siakam, really good decision maker. When we won't go down the whole roster, TJ McConnell, really good decision maker. So based on that same logic, who has better decision makers, the 07 Cavs or the 25 Pacers? Who has more good basketball players, the 25 Pacers or the 07 Cavs?
Dude, I feel like you're not understanding that when you have a veteran team, they're not going to do the stupid thing that right now the Bucks are doing, where they're giving
Tyrese Halliburton in the NBA. How many more vets do they need?
They are allowing Tyrese Halliburton to do what he wants to do out there. Yes, they are allowing. Okay, he is not the best off the dribble, right? If you cram him in space, he doesn't have the 50th handle.
How do you do that against this Pacers offense? How do you cram him in space?
I think I would try a more mobile big on him.
What big was that on the 07 Cavs? Varejao?
Illy. Varejao is pretty mobile.
Big Z might be even worse in space than Brook Lopez.
Hey, Illy gonna get the job.
He definitely was. But Danielle Marshall had super long arms. He probably played some power forward for you, gobble up some rebounds. I don't know, man. I mean, at that stage of his career, granted, he was much older too. I don't know, man. I might end up playing LeBron at the 4. Shit. And just have like a lot of good perimeter players and some shooters around. All I'm telling you is there's no way LeBron is losing. All I'm telling you is, as someone who watched LeBron in 07, there is no way in hell that a LeBron James led team, I don't care if it's plumbers and firemen next to him, is losing to this Indiana Pacers team. They can't stop him. They don't have a single player that can stop him. They can't even come close to
I watched the LeBron James led team.
He dropped 45.
I watched
every single.
I watched the better LeBron James
year.
Nearly lose to the 18 Pacers.
I'm not trying to be nostalgic about how good LeBron was back then. All I'm saying is I've watched so many freaking players, so many players who are so much worse than that version of LeBron, cook the shit out of this Pacers team, that to think about that version of LeBron with a competent roster around him of players you clearly don't respect very much, but were really grizzled vets who knew their role, understood angles, understood schemes, and just generally played better disciplined basketball. I cannot imagine a world
actively not stopping
07 LeBron is losing to this bullshit ass team.
The Pacers are actively not stopping Giannis, and they are winning.
Giannis is stopping himself. He's driving into help. You are not comparing the processing power of 07 LeBron to this Giannis. I'm sorry.
So what's LeBron going to be driving into?
LeBron is, in my opinion, just a court. If you want to compare court mapping between these two players,
no, I'm asking what's he going to be driving into? Is there not going to be help?
He's going to be driving into open space because he's going to attack earlier. He's going to wait for gaps. He's going to probably execute pick and roll a lot better.
Giannis isn't even running pick and rolls other than in a couple inverted.
Right. Well, what I'm telling you is I think that Giannis is a very dominant player. But when we talk about all the gaudy numbers, the 40 points, 20 rebounds, whatever, it's a lot of physical stuff. LeBron at that age was still, in my opinion, mapping the court a lot better offensively, seeing openings and pockets to attack better, exploiting.
Where are those openings when you have what the 07 Cavs have around him? Where are the openings?
He didn't have shooters.
You're already running a big, so you're already clogging up the lane because you have a non-shooting big out there, correct?
Bro, Daniel Boobie Gibson shot 42% from 3.
How many threes did those?
Pavlovich. Once again, you're comparing in an era where those guys.
Yeah, it's a huge reason why I think they'd lose.
So what? They're gonna come into this era and they're gonna be told, hey, now it's
Is Big Z gonna start shooting threes?
You do realize how good Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace
were? Could knock down some threes.
Ben Wallace wasn't there in 07.
Sorry, my bad. Rasheed Wallace, they had defense, okay?
Of course they had defense.
And LeBron went up against that team multiple times before that when they did have Ben Wallace too. I'm not saying I just think that Pistons team was so much better defensively than this Pacers team.
It was
even without.
And LeBron struggled against that team.
And they couldn't stop him
in that game. Yeah, he was great in that series. Yeah, wasn't great in what was it, game 6? But like they still won and guys showed up. I'm not saying the 07 Cavs are a bad team. What I'm saying is they would lose to the Pacers. One reason being they aren't a modern enough offense. Another reason being the team was extremely flawed. And another reason being that one player doesn't win series.
They had a bottom half offense in the NBA that year. They were like 18th in offense.
One player doesn't this ain't even a knock on LeBron. I say this all the time. Put whoever you want, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan. One player in today's NBA is not consistently winning you series, especially against a team that's competent. A competent team is not just losing to LeBron. Giannis has been the best player in the series by a landslide. And the Bucks haven't even been really close to winning a game. And that's not a knock on Giannis. You don't win just by, my best player is so much better than everyone else. That's not going to work when a team is competent. It's just not. It's not a knock on LeBron. Everyone's like, you don't believe in LeBron. Quite frankly, every time LeBron's had to carry a team, they ultimately end up losing once they come up against a really, really good team. And I'm not saying the Pacers or the Warriors, no. What I'm saying is the Pacers are a competent team that one player is not just going to beat them. They're not going to lose just because of one player.
But it's not just one player. You keep bringing it up back to this just one player, because you don't respect the rest of these guys.
Yes, I don't respect Drew Gooden to the degree that you do. Yes, not at that point. Absolutely not. He was a rebounder who can make 15-foot jumpers. Like Drew Gooden was cool, but he can make 15-foot jumpers and rebound. That's great value. Big Z was a nice post up there, but if we want to talk about mobile on the perimeter defending, he's going to be even worse than Brook Lopez. So like you get to a point where it's like, is he worth the hassle on defense because of what he brings offensively? Maybe not. Boobie Gibson was cool. Like I respect Boobie Gibson as a shooter, someone who can make shots, provide that extra value. That's cool. Sasha Pavlovich, respectfully, I don't even think he was good.
Larry Hughes was cold.
And Larry Hughes was hurt in that postseason. So if you want to like give him, if you want to give Larry Hughes,
I want to make him healthy.
Yeah, if you want to make him healthy, then that's a whole different kind of worms. But Larry Hughes was a nice player. He could play defense. Like Larry Hughes could score. I respect Larry Hughes, but he also was compromised in that postseason run. Another reason why when I go into this thinking about the series, I don't think about Larry Hughes because he was hurt. Like this isn't a knock on LeBron James. I think LeBron James was amazing. Mm-hmm. It's a belief that teams have to be really good in order to win series in the modern NBA. In 2025,
do any of your players
teams have to be good? I think Jokic is the best player in the Clippers series. I think the Clippers might win that series, not because of Jokic, but because the roster is flawed. That's why I don't think the Nuggets are going to win a championship. It's not because Jason Tatum, who's on the Celtics, is better than Jokic. It's because one player isn't enough anymore. I don't think that's the case. The teams are too good. The role players are too good. Everyone's too skilled. I'm not buying that personally. I'm just not. But it is what it is.
All right, fellas. I got a few more super chats. The first one is from Alan L. Alan said, if we are keeping it 100, Shea has had more mid-playoff games than great ones at this point. Let's not forget the Pels last year.
I'm not counting, but that sounds relatively accurate.
Zero just vibing said Bobby Portis is the third best player versus the 07 Cavs.
Are we forgetting Dame?
It's Dame. The Bucks have the best player and the third best player, if you want to, and obviously series come down to more than that, obviously. But like
I think we just disagree on whether the Bucks have the best player.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Gunny said, even when Giannis sets a good screen, Dame can't make the pass and doesn't look for his own shot. Doc is the worst coach ever. Lopez gives up 160 in pick and roll.
No, imagine Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
Biggs said, bro, the Raptors have a whole entire country to themselves against a city. Blame your marketing team and your trash history. Damn.
I think the Raptors have done a really great job. Why would I blame anybody? A fantastic job.
War V Room said, there's nothing I love more than seeing offensive and defensive liabilities getting exploited every possession. Make these bums evolve as players or get the fuck out of the league.
You know what I was thinking about? There's like 5 players not playing right now for the OKC Thunder that could probably be so much better than 5 players who are currently getting mega rotation minutes. Someone like Jalen Williams, J. Will, telling me he couldn't play for the Bucks right now? Tell me he couldn't play for the Lakers as their starting center and be really decent? It's nuts.
Shout out Jay Will. The last super chat of the day from War V Room yet again. War V said, I agree with Mars, but if LeBron wins a series by carrying, then you just say the team was bad and incompetent. 2018, I remember y'all was saying that.
No, I think people, if you go back and watch, I'm not saying you have to, but if you go back and watch the 2018 NBA, I think it's very different to what's going on today. I actually think 2018 LeBron in today's NBA would also struggle to win a lot of series. I'm not saying he couldn't, but like even in 2018, he struggled to win. He struggled against the Pacers. They ultimately won. It went to 7 games. They struggled against the Celtics. They ultimately won, but it went to 7 games. Like even back then, and that's why everyone praises LeBron, rightfully so, for what it took to get to the finals. Because one player alone makes it damn near impossible. And that's why LeBron did the impossible, basically. Now imagine that when you fast forward to the 2025 Pacers, who, in my opinion, are better than the 2018 Pacers that took a better LeBron James to 7 games. Like, I think I'm well within reason to say that the 07 Cavs would lose to this Pacers team. It's not about LeBron. Like, if I were to give a percentage of how much the Pacers beating the 07 Cavs is about LeBron James and his flaws as a player, it would be negative 17%. None of it's about him. It's not because I don't believe in LeBron. It's because everything else around LeBron and everything the Pacers have makes them a better team to me. LeBron has zero culpability in the reason why I think the Cavs would lose. It's not about LeBron at all. None of it's about LeBron. None of it's about Giannis.
You're not showing Illy enough love.
But like,
okay.
Well,
so here's my question for you. Last year, the Denver Nuggets, right? We can agree Jokic doesn't have a great supporting cast, right? I want you to imagine you take Jamal Murray off that team. Just take him off.
Okay.
Would that team beat this Pacers team?
So Jokic, last year they had KCP still. So KCP, who was that backup point guard after Jamal Murray?
Reggie Jackson.
They're not being the Pacers. I'm sorry. That seems
okay, cool. So yeah, so I just think superstars, like legit, like when I'm talking LeBron 07, Jokic.
The Nuggets are probably better than 07.
That
and Jokic is better than LeBron.
I feel like you're taking Giannis to struggle, meaning every superstar would struggle exactly the way he's struggling, and I don't think every superstar would.
Giannis isn't struggling.
Giannis is struggling. The Bucks are struggling.
Giannis is not struggling.
Fair enough.
Jokic will not struggle against the Pacers. If you give Jokic, Reggie Jackson, KCP, elite screen navigator, MPJ, Aaron Gordon,
you just don't have.
I'm gonna be honest. That team is way better than the Cavs.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Nuggets. The Nuggets may fuck around winning.
That team is way better than the Cavs. Jokic is the best player in the series. He's better than 07 LeBron. I think we can agree.
That I
MPJ, Aaron Gordon are actually good NBA players. Reggie Jackson, notwithstanding, Reggie Jackson was bad. KCP was good. Yeah, I got the Nuggets. I'm gonna be honest. I got the Nuggets, but like, I don't think that's comparable. Yeah, I don't think that's comparable. Sorry, I don't think that's comparable.
So a team that did not make the finals last year without their second best player is significantly worse than a team that made the finals in 07. Yes. Great. Yes. Okay, cool. Era taxing. Love it.
I think yes, sure. If that's what you want to call it, yes.
Yeah, because you're not saying that the team in 2014. You're not saying the team in 2023 is playing by the rules of 07. You're saying the team in 07 or 08 has to magically adapt their roster to play exactly like the teams today, which is why
they don't have to magically adapt their roster. I'm saying if you take that 07 team and put them in a game against the 25 Pacers or a series, they would lose. That's what I'm saying. Yes. We're not magically adapting the players. We're not making super Ilgauskas who can now move on the perimeter. Why would I do that? That's not the same team. I'm talking about the team that played. They would lose.
Super Illy would be better than Jokic too, by the way. But y'all, we got to get up out of here. It's been an amazing show. Thank you to everybody that's chimed in. Thank you to everybody that's liked the video. John, we'll catch you soon. Pim, we'll catch you soon. Mars.
Peace.
Peace.
Merry Christmas.